Greetings of the day. This is Vidhi Singh, the host for the day. So we'll be starting now since it's 3 p.m. Cool guys, I welcome you all to the national debate competition held by Bal Education Trust. Can we go to the next slide? So a little about our foundation. Bal Education Trust is a registered NGO based in Vapi. We at Bal Education Trust work for the welfare of students since 2013. Every year, we raise funds from our various activities to provide education to needy or orphan children. The trust runs a preschool chain across Vapi. Our flagship fundraising event is National Debate Competition, which we conduct every year. Earlier, we used to conduct all the activities in offline mode, but they were operational only in Gujarat. After the pandemic, with the help of technology, we have conducted the competition first time online and on a national level. The trust aims to provide every student a national exposure from the comfort of their home and the opportunity to know the views of other students from other states. Can you go to next slide? So these are our judges, Miss Rashmi Shukla, who is PGT English at DPS Kalyanpur, Kanpur, and Miss Chitra Dhandapani, who is TGT Science at LK Singhani Education Center from Rajasthan. One thing to know, since Chitra ma'am is from Udaipur, so due to riots and everything, she might be having a uncertain internet. So we might need to cooperate with her. Let's hear out to our judge's message. Rashmi ma'am, you may have the floor for the students.
Thank you for having me and all the best to all the speakers. I hope all of you will put your best foot forward. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am. Chitra ma'am, please go ahead.
Hello, participants. All the best to all the participants. The floor is yours. Rock the floor. All the best.
So, little about my professional background. I'm currently a final year undergraduate student pursuing economics honors at Lady Shri Ram College. So, next slide, please. You know what is the topic for this competition? Media is an effective tool for influencing the society. Next slide. These are the rules and regulations you would need to follow. Every participants will get 2 minutes to present their topic, followed by argument round for next 5 minutes. Any participant found misbehaving would be disqualified. Participants must keep their webcam on all the time, or at least during they are giving their speech and argumentation round. Else, they'll be disqualified. When one participant is presenting his or her topic, none is allowed to interrupt him or her. Official language for the competition is English. Participants are not allowed to refer to their notes during the competition. Next slide, please. Every participant will get a certification of participation, and the winner will get 2 certificates. That is additional one for winning to qualifying the state level competition to national level. Participation certificates will be released within a week from competition. All communication will be done via email. So we request you to keep checking your inbox and spam folders. Next slide, please. While awarding marks to the participant, following aspects would be considered: opening statements, language utilization, body language, confidence level, closing statement, argumentations or interaction, asking lame and meaningless questions will be viewed negatively, and lastly, content. Next slide, please. These are just the cash prizes Bal Education Trust has for its winners. We have for the first winner 11,000 rupees along with a medal, certificate of appreciation, and recognized by Bal Education Trust. First runner-up would get cash prize of 5,000, and second runner-up cash prize of 2,500. These are the ones who win in the national level, right? So we'll go ahead. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So the national level competition would be held on 10th of July. So the question that how many candidates would be qualified for national level debate competition. So only one candidate per state would be qualified. So for example, from Haryana, if there are 10 applicants, only one will get qualified to national level debate. Next slide, please. This is our email, support@baleducationtrust.in. So you can contact us if you have any queries. Next slide. And this is our Instagram and Facebook handle @baleducationtrust. Next slide, please. Cool, guys. Before we begin, are there any questions on floor? Any questions you have with regards to anything to the host or to the judges?
No, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Aditya Tomar.
Ma'am, it's actually Agrima.
All
Ma'am,
right.
I have a question that if we are having our national level on 10th of July and we'll be getting whether we are qualified or not in a week, so when will be getting the topic for that? I'm just curious.
Mostly you'll be getting it along with the your qualification email, and it is not in a week; it is within a week. So you can take the average as 4 to 5 days. 4 to 5 days
Okay, ma'am.
stands around 5th to 6th of July. So you'll be having like time to prepare.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Tanishk.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask after our speech is done, are we allowed to leave the session?
No. I mean, yeah, you can leave. However, if you stay, it would be viewed positively.
Okay, ma'am.
Hey, shall I say one thing? If you stay in this meeting throughout, you are going to cross question the debaters. That will add points for you.
Cool, guys. So we'll begin with the attendance now, seeing all the doubts resolved. Vishuddhi Jain, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm there.
Thank you. Adya Mishra,
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Avika Giri,
Yes, ma'am, present.
Adrika Mishra,
Yes, ma'am, I'm present.
thank you. Jakshan, not there. Ahana,
What, ma'am?
Jashn, not there.
Ma'am, present.
You're required to be little responsive.
Ma'am, I could not hear my name properly, sorry.
Ahana,
Present, ma'am.
Yajwin,
Present, ma'am.
Shubhra,
Present, ma'am.
Alina,
Present, ma'am.
Aryan,
Present, ma'am. Ma'am, present.
Aryan Jain,
Aryan Jain.
Ela,
Present, ma'am.
thank you. Resham,
Present, ma'am.
Agrima,
Present, ma'am.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but please will you admit me from another ID? Can I leave from here?
sure, you can rejoin. But kindly stay till your attendance is over.
Okay.
Yeah. Manya,
Present, ma'am.
Ashvika,
Present, ma'am.
Navya,
Present, ma'am.
Aditya.
Present, ma'am.
Thank you. Ignore.
Present, ma'am.
Thank you. Samaya,
Ma'am.
Pavni,
Yes, I'm there, ma'am.
Navya,
Present, ma'am.
Palak, Ganeev,
Present, ma'am.
Siddhak,
Present, ma'am.
Tanishq,
Present, ma'am.
Rihang,
Present, ma'am.
Siddharth,
Present, ma'am.
Riddhi,
Present, ma'am.
Krishna Bhatia,
Present, ma'am.
Pranav,
Present, ma'am.
Ritesh,
Present, ma'am.
Kamarpreet,
Present, ma'am.
Swayam,
Present, ma'am.
Ritika. All right, with this, only two students are absent, Palak Sharma and Kritika Shukla. So we'll go ahead with we'll start sharing the screen. I request the host to start sharing the screen. Could the BAL Education Trust team member share his timer? Thank you. So we'll be having Vidhushi Jain, who will be giving her speech in favor of the motion. Please go ahead, Vidhushi.
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready. Shall I start? As famously quoted by someone, media is the ultimate equalizer. It gives a voice and a platform to anyone willing to engage. Information and communication technology has changed rapidly over the past 20 years with the emergence of digital media, considered as the mirror of modern society, which help us to shape our lives. Hi, everybody. This is Vishuddhi Jain, and today I stand over here to present my view in favor of this topic. Consequently, media is aiming at spreading knowledge within the whole world without any form of discrimination. This is why the media is known as the fourth pillar of democracy. And they have been successfully doing their work since a long time, by which it has been able to reach and educate the public. Social media connects people in ways never before possible, enabling users to maintain friendship across time and distance. It enables those who are socially isolated or somehow set apart from the community to connect with people. During COVID, social media proved it to be quite handy for all of us. We took many benefits of it in terms of distance education, healthcare, and spreading awareness. That's why we cannot deny the fact that this world is full of social problems like poverty, violence, corruption, and this media highlights these problems through news so that the government could take steps to finish these issues. No society, government, class, institution can progress by neglecting the media. At last, I want to state that social media is just a tool. It can't ruin anything on its own. It is the world that is getting ruined by those shadowy individuals. Thank you.
Thank you. Are any questions? I request the member to start sharing the argument round timer. Adya, go ahead.
Hi, Vidhushi, the other side. Actually, as you said that media, described media as the fourth pillar of the democracy, and you described it. So can you help me clarify that how does media not helps creating barriers in this society? because media is, I think, right now the most acts as a petrol to the fire that is burning the main hot topic of India, religion, the Hindus and the Muslims. So the media is the first one to give that light and act as a lighter for that fire. So would you please explain me your point that it's acting as a fourth pillar of the democracy, please?
Okay, yeah, sure. So as I said that media is known as the fourth pillar of democracy because media creates a platform for any person in the world regarding its racist and any person in the world who is willing to present its views, stories, narrations, which create awareness to build a community around an issue. So that means it is providing a platform to anyone who is willing to participate in it. Thank you.
Vidushi, as you said that media...
All right, follow-ups not allowed. Adya, thank you. Vihang, go ahead.
You said, Vishruti, you said many things about media, but how does your speech prove that media is an effective tool for influencing the society? Where did you state that it is an effective tool for influencing people? That's my question.
Yeah, sure. So as I said that it is it has influenced the people because for example, let me speak about against of it. Like for example, let's take an example of fake news. These fake news are intentionally false, designed to manipulate people's perception. Stories that are untrue, mislead people towards violence and violence. So that's why I think that like for suppose every coin has two sides. So some media also have two sides. One acts as positively and one acts negatively. So like it depends on the a person's perception that how you use it, how they actually use it. That's what I mean.
May I continue? Permission to continue? Yes.
No, Vihang. No follow-ups. Amarpreet, go ahead.
With the permission of the respected jury, I would like to ask the contestant that as she stated that media influences the society, during the times of election, media helped to alter the thinking of the viewers to one side of the electing parties. Can you state how is that an effective thing of media?
Okay, as you said, they gave the example of election. We know that media has its positive effects. So media is taking more responsibility and bringing more control towards people. That's why it has not resulted in conflicts. So media has minimized the content showing that crime and violence, and that's where it has controlled the society and influenced them.
Pranav, Shiva.
Sure. So you said social media is accessible to everybody, but only about 58% of the world really uses it. What about the rest of the 42%? How are they influenced by media?
Of course they are. It's that they are not using it. They are not trying to understand what media is actually, what benefits does media have. So they need to search about it more media, and like media is definitely effective, and it has definitely influenced the society. It has made communication easier. So that's why like everyone, for suppose those rural areas, some people are still not they don't know what is social media. So they should know what is the real benefits of media. And it can definitely cope up with social isolation and all. Those people who are socially isolated, if they use media, they can definitely cope up with those emotions.
Thank you, Vidushi. With this, we'll be going ahead with our next speaker, Adya Mishra, who will be giving her speech against the motion. You may have the floor.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, greetings to all. I'm Adya Mishra and will be speaking against the motion. Media, the creator and the destroyer. That one helps, but only to separate. The one on whom we do trust, but is not worthy to hold it. And as said by Jay Shetty, what consumes your mind controls your life, is I think wholly true about media. The media that we know today was not created for the purpose it is serving today. It was created to guide to the light, not to the darkness. It aimed at providing information, not giving judgments. But is it adhering to the task for which it was made? No. Is it declaring the judgments and we, the people, are allowing it to do so? Is it justiciable? No. Who watches these daily news and follows the media? Are these the toddlers or the infants? None of them, right? Then who watches these news and follows the social media? The masses, the youngsters. When the media is highly aware of the illiteracy rate of India, that is 37% of the global total, the highest, then isn't it the responsibility of the media to share what is correct? Something non-controversial that doesn't create barrier but spreads brotherhood? Whom should we blame for this condition of the media? The people who love controversies, or the news channels who only think about their TRPs? It's a big question. Who to blame? In a world of algorithms, hashtags, and followers, know the true importance of a real human connection. The media is a murderer of the innocence of our nation, the destroyer of the innocence and beauty, and the poison for the intellectuals. The media demands a lot of us on top of our already demanding lives. Let's disconnect from the fake and connect from the real. And let's ask ourselves that who would we give up media for? And let's find the answers together. Thank you.
Thank you, Adya. Ahana, go ahead.
Thank you. We know that currently we passed through the COVID pandemic and we didn't have any solution for this. So this time we had media which helped us out. Without media, we wouldn't have even went through the situation. So would you like to elucidate about it?
Yes, sure, Ahana. Ahana, we passed through COVID around 2 years, I suppose. 2 years, if I'm not wrong, 2022 and 2021. Okay, so media was not creating a positive impact on us. Okay, just going one step towards positiveness is not about that you are creating a whole positive environment. The media was not giving us the welcoming vibes that we were needing. Just by telecasting the Ramayana just once by the TV, on the TV, doesn't create positiveness. You would understand that. And showing those dead bodies being burning, people crying outside of the hospitals, showing that the government is not being able to cope up with the situations, influencing, speaking negative comments about the other countries, not about our country, that our government is not able to do well with the situation, not able to handle it, criticizing the British, criticizing the United Kingdoms. So do you think is it creating a positive impact? Is it? That's it I would like to answer for your question, Ahana. Thank you.
Denied, Ahana. Alina, go ahead.
Okay, Adya. So my question for you is, tell me, does media influence the society or not? It does not matter whether it is positive or negative. Is it an effective tool for influencing the society? It does create biased opinions, but it does influence our society. Do you deny this fact?
No, I don't. Media is the greatest influencer we can ever have. The greatest influencer. Everybody in this, even the one who have sells fruits or the maids that work in our home, only use and own a smartphone nowadays. Everybody owns a smartphone. Everybody reads the newspapers. Everybody has a TV at home. Everybody hears the news. Everybody has a radio. Okay. So media is the most, I would, as you asked, not negative, not positive. It do impacts our brain, our thinking, and it doesn't impacts the monkey mind instead of the monk mind. Thank you.
Resham?
Yeah, ma'am. Adya, you just said that media is the greatest influencer, but as you're against the topic, right? So you're not supposed to favor it, and you just said it's the greatest influencer. So how do you say that media has been ineffective for influencing the society?
Have you heard about the Kashmir files? Have you? I think yes, everybody of us, we are around in a teenage, and we all of us have heard about the Kashmir files. Oh my God, the case that burned out India. Okay, the budget of the film was not that high, but the publication was high. The media. I am a commerce student. I know about business. I know what publication money, publication economics is. I know that. And it's very well. That Kashmir Files director did it very well. The news channels, the news was filled with this Kashmir Files, and Kashmir Files. We, as being the youngsters, got influenced through it. It's like, did you watch it? And if you're like, no, I didn't. So, okay, let me give it a try. And in giving that try, you were influenced by your friends who were influenced by the media itself, Reshma. Thank you.
Tanish?
So, Adya, I had a question. What about in the lockdown of students' life? Like, if we didn't have media at that time, I don't feel we were able to do our studies, to continue our studies. 2 classes of our life had been like this through media. So, what is your views on that?
So, okay. Hi, Tanishka. Nice question. Okay, I would like to say that the 2 years, we all were so like, just please God, open the schools. We'll go in any condition. We'll go. That was the negative effect that we had. Okay, we are youngsters. We are being influenced by the other people, by other nations, by other celebrities who are much educated. They are being said that no, people are like offline studies is much better than online studies. So our brains. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead with the next candidate, Avika Giri, who will be giving her speech for the motion. Go ahead now.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Avika, and I'm the student of Class 9 Patanjali Rishikul. And I'm here today to speak for the motion, Media is an effective tool for influencing our society. Media is a vital part of our lives, and it would be unjust to overlook the advantages, the importance of media in our lives, as it not only keeps us informed, but it provides us a platform to raise our voice against the evil, to express our thoughts in front of the whole world. Not only this, it provides us a platform to showcase our talent in front of the world and learn from others. It helps create awareness about important social issues. The best example of this would be of the increased mental health awareness in the recent years. Well, earlier, people did not seem to care about mental health because of the lack of awareness, but because of the awareness that was spread through various media outlets in the recent years, now the society is becoming increasingly aware and sensitive about such issues. And also media, I think, helps us to find loopholes in our social systems and evils in our society. And it helps the government by coordinating in the projects of national importance. Many people use media to seek positive inspiration and build their own recipe for success. I think at last it just depends upon our perspective and usage of media. That how do we actually use it? As everything has its own pros and cons, so does media has. It's our choice at last. And I think that, it's rightly said that excess must be avoided everywhere. The same is the case with media. I think it's a double-edged sword and we need to use it wisely. Thank you.
Thank you, Avika. We'll have questions now. Ella, go ahead.
Yes, hi Avika. You said that the media helps us showcase our talents, but doesn't it also put us through a lot of criticism that adversely affects our confidence and it puts us in a state that puts us in self-doubt? How would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, it's like true that we receive some criticism, but I think that it's like more important. Earlier, if you look at the people, the poor of the region, the poor of our country, they will never get the platform to showcase their talent, to speak about themselves, their problems. But with the help of media, they can do so. And I think it depends, it's kind of, individual. With each individual, it's varying that how will they react to that particular thing, to the criticism. You can learn from the criticism or you will actually be depressed. That's the thing.
We'll have Vishudhi.
Yes, Avika, as you said that you were in favor of this topic, I want to ask that how are you going to stop those fake news, those rumors which are shared by media, and as it is affecting affecting each person's manipulation, each person's perception. So how are you going to stop that, those rumors and all?
Yeah, it's a really very, it's very hot topic around the world, and we are all like the biggest of the tech companies are just in, just to find a solution. How could we do so? So I think on my personal level, like what I think is that we all need to be aware about this. Like we need to be aware and we need to recheck the things or recheck the facts. We can't be so easily manipulated by the things. That's it for that.
Ahana.
So, like Avika, you mentioned that media is like a double-ended sword, and we should use it wisely. So, do you think the teens of this generation would use it wisely? Because there are so many chances of cyberbullying, and you mentioned about media influencers. There are some media influencers who are negatively influencing the society. So, what would you tell about it?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very nice question. So I think like about the media influencers and about the media being a double-edged sword. So as the perspective of being like, if I am a media influencer, it's kind of, for me, it's my it's giving me an employment opportunity. I'm able to it's my livelihood basically. And if there are like many, you may say, people who are reaching out and who are like making people aware of such things, that what's happening basically with these you may say these Instagram and all these accounts. And I think like we need to be aware and we need to choose wisely. It's all on us, and that's what I said in my speech, that we need to choose wisely. Even if you walk on the road, there's garbage one side, and if you see there's a garden, so that's your choice, that what you need to choose at that point. So that's it.
Thank you. Resham, go ahead.
Well, Avika, even after 75 years of India's independence, we have so many social evils, and media is greatly responsible for spreading hate and such hateful topics. So I wanted to ask, how do you justify that media is an effective tool to bring out social change? How do you think it is an effective tool?
Yeah, I want to give an example. Like in the US, it was like Black Lives Matter, a movement like that. That was something that started from social media. If you talk about the Me Too movement, hashtag Me Too, that also started. I think these social evils that are in the society, media has a great capacity. It has, you may say, it's very capable of just stopping those things, of raising a voice against them. But at the same time, there are some people, and the people who are not trying to create a good change, but they are using such tools to basically actually, you may say, just destroy our harmony and our thoughts, kind of that. Thank you.
Cool. Next, we'll have Adrika Mishra, who will be giving her speech against the motion. Adrika Mishra, are you there?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me. Actually,
In today's world, media is a complete bane for us. As if we see that the young teens, young children, they're completely adapted on social media. They just don't want to go outside the school, outside the homes. They just want to stay at their homes. They want to watch Instagram. They want to make reels, and that's it. They don't want to see the world, the nature. It's completely just vanished for themselves. All they want is a phone. On phone, what they watch is rumors which are spread on social media, and there is no cure for that. As we know that it's just a complete bane for us. We know that all the children in today's lives, they have social medias, they have what books, but they don't read that. Social media is a mass bane for us, and what we all do is
Adrika, you're not audible. Hello, Adrika.
I believe she has left the meeting.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
seeing
Text message
some
showing
network
she
issues on
left.
Adrika's side, we'll go ahead with Jashna Sachdev, who will be giving a speech for the motion. You may have the floor.
Can I have a minute?
Jashna, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. We know media has some disadvantages, but the advantages greatly outweigh them. We are going to look at some of these advantages. It keeps us connected. Before media, you could live your entire life without knowing nothing about the world outside of your village. Now, we are all connected, and this can be a very good thing. For instance, when a tsunami strikes, people all over the world hear about it within moments and can mobilize immediately to help. Without media, we would have far less ability to understand how we are all connected and how we all need each and another. It can spur business. Where would business be without advertising and marketing? Thanks to business communication made possible by media, businesses can reach potential consumers faster and easier than ever before. This helps us keep our economy going. It can spread art and culture. On the internet, you can see all of the world's artistic masterpieces or learn about the particularities of a culture far removed from your own. In addition, numerous TV and radio programs devote themselves to exploring the world, offering us the chance to discover new things and ideas and enlighten ourselves in the process. It can give voice to the voiceless. From reporters bringing us stories of people in difficult situations to social media allowing one person's thoughts to go viral and spread across the world. Media can lift up an individual voice that would otherwise have gone unheard. News is instantaneous. Thanks to news apps like Twitter, etc., news spreads faster than ever, as we no longer need to wait until 6 p.m. news to access our news. As part of this instantaneous news to knowledge, thank you, ma'am.
All right, questions for Jashn. We'll have Krishna.
Yeah, I would like to ask you that how we can turn the media addicted liabilities into the assets for the society.
We have to take the impacts of media positively and not negatively. We have to understand what we are doing wrong, not just the media, because a coin always has two sides.
Vihang.
Yes. You always mention social media. You never mention any other forms of media like paper media or broadcast media. Can you give your views on those?
Yes, broadcast media, live streaming, and the etc. They
I
are
don't mean
also
that you only give about medias on internet, social media, or anything present on the internet. Do you have any views on paper media or broadcast media that is not on the internet?
Yes, cable media. It also has news. Yeah. So it can also impact us positively and negatively, but you have to take the positive side. Always think positively, not negatively.
Thank you.
Aditya Tomar.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to ask you that you just said that media can be used, we can know the news through media pretty soon. But sometimes in remote areas, there's no news about what's happening in the world. Can you express what will happen to those areas?
Yes, in remote areas, people are not getting access to media properly. That's not what you said, yeah. But they are getting scammed. But to discourage these scams, media has been arranged. There has been programs and seminars online, which the people in remote areas can easily understand.
Siddharth Shah.
Sir, you mentioned in your speech about Twitter, Instagram help the news to spread faster. But don't you think Twitter, Instagram can also spread fake news more fast?
Yes, I think they can spread the fake news, but they can also spread positive news. They can spread positive messages. They can also spread the real news. So focus on the positive side.
Pavni.
Yes, ma'am. So, as my opponent said, that just focus on the positive side doesn't mean that we don't have any negative side. By ignoring it, I think it just harms us. For example, what just happened in Udaipur, it is very tragic, but that person just commented something on social media in favor of like a political party. So that's why that post he got killed by two people. So kindly tell me that how is it benefiting the society when it is just supporting the riots, just causing murders?
It will cause murders. That is the negative points, but the positive points greatly outweigh the negative points. We have to focus on the positive. The bright side is always there. Envelop yourselves in the bright side.
Seeing no response, Raj Yadav.
Yeah, I'm having a question that you have supported the part of media, but in those conditions only, in today's world, media is also giving the news against some religion, caste, or class. So how you will deal with that? Is it right that it is dealing supporting one caste or religion and objecting other?
You can't just plainly blame media for supporting castes and religions. You have to blame yourselves first. It's all because that people are typing such messages that are going against these and invoking ideas in other people. Even though media is just a medium for transportation, we cannot say that media is the reason for all such things.
Who asked this question? Is it Raj? There is no name like that.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your name, better?
Varmaditya.
Okay, with this, we shall go ahead with the next speaker, Ahana Basha, who will be giving her speech against the motion.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, better.
I'm so sorry. There was a glitch in my laptop, and when I started to speak, it all wasn't able to put on my topic in front of you. So could you give me another
Yes,
chance?
yes, got it. So what we'll do is we'll give you a chance towards the end. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Media is giving negative impressions on our youth. regarding serious problems. Adult content is being shown on media that is badly affecting our children. Greetings to the judges, my fellow opponents, and everyone present here. Myself, Ahana Basha, is speaking against this topic. Once media tries to form awareness regarding some serious problems through movies, etc., individuals get wrong plans from it. People try to repeat the lives of their favorite characters and get badly affected. There were some cases in the between where we saw them, like some children being affected by copying some different characters, and this influenced them very wrongly. Some folks are so addicted to media that they need no time to do different tasks. Most are busy on their mobile phones or on the web and don't have any time to speak to their own relatives and family. Media is ever changing our culture and our norms. The negative impact is dumbing down people due to the falling of that so-called social media influencers. Just imagine kids who should be concentrating on the academics and should go to preschool are turning their phones on, creating account in social media like Instagram, and then what they do is reels. Various TV shows and movies are affecting the youth. It also leads towards crime, violence, mental and physical health disorders. It also causes stress, bad mood, eye strain, neck pain. People get addicted and this further affects their sleep and concentration. People are not able to focus on their tasks. Cybercrime is one of the severe crimes which is causing people to go in depression and affecting their further career and future. There's decreased attention towards the school work. It can be harmful because it can invade your privacy too. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have questions now. Pranav, Shiva.
Yes, I think we are just the topic is effective, which implies whether it produces a desired result or not. But I believe my esteemed colleagues are misrepresenting the topic. We are discussing if media is an effective tool for social influence, not the type of influence, good or bad.
Yes.
So, and most of these anti-speeches are just why is social media bad or why is media bad? It should be, does it affect or influence people or does it not influence people? Thank you.
Maybe you should have listened carefully. I mentioned that media is influencing the people wrongly. If you want, I can repeat that line once again. So please do listen carefully.
Siddharth.
Ma'am, you mentioned about cybercrime, but don't you think cybercrime happens due to the individuals of the society? Media has nothing to do with it. Actually, media is spreading awareness about the cybercrime. So media is actually helping them.
So firstly, you should understand what is the medium for the people to do the cybercrime. It is media itself. So if like media is the medium, then it is the main thing that is causing cybercrime in this world.
Navya Verma.
Yeah. Okay. So you said that people often harm themselves in copying some of the characters from movies or from those stuff. So don't you think here people are not, or we should blame those people because they are not sensible enough to think that what's right or what's wrong for them?
So like you know that influencing, we are talking about influencing. So if media is influencing wrong things, we have seen many sexual content which is going viral through media. These small kids who are watching on their phone, they get so influenced that they try to do these things. So don't you think media is influencing them to do this? That's what today's topic is. It's not an effective tool to influence the society. Hope this answers.
Alina Siddiq.
Okay. So my question to you is, what is exactly an effective tool that we're talking about today? How is media not an effective tool for influencing the society? I would really like you to explain that to me.
So like my whole speech was about it. So we could see that students, the children, the youth who are our future are now so much involved in this media and are like leaving their academics behind. And because of the so-called social media influencers, they are like trying to become that one, even leaving their parents and family behind. So don't you think this is not an effective tool? Instead, it is taking them away from the real world and what they have to do.
That's why I asked you, what is an effective tool?
Okay, so speaking, okay, all right. So we have media, right? So media, as I told you, it's not an effective tool. I gave you so many reasons. So maybe a real life conversations would help us rather than media. Thank you.
I just wanted to, may I have a minute,
Yes,
please?
ma'am, please go ahead.
Participants, please see to it that your questions are relevant and significant. Otherwise, it might be that you may lose marks because I get to understand that most of you do not have a clear understanding what are you talking about. And some of you are going overboard with your answers and your questions. So we are here to award you marks for the logical questions that you are asking. It is not simply to make an attempt to mark your attendance that yes, I asked a question. And the ones who are replying, please be careful. What are you saying? Is that clear? This rebuttal is going haywire. So please take care, all of you. Thank you. You may proceed.
Shyam, please go ahead.
You continuously elucidated media, but you actually meant just social media. And even if we consider that, you are continuously talking about how the people are less physically active and more engrossed in social media. But the media has portrayed the world in a nice manner when it comes to the present situation. When we talk about Russia-Ukraine war, the people, they had zero access to anything, and it was the media that became the voice for them. So how do you say that media is not helping the people?
I mentioned about TV shows, I mentioned about channels, and also there were many rumors regarding this war that were fake.
Thank you. In this case, we'll go ahead with the next speaker, Yajvin Mahajan, who will be giving speech for the motion. You may have the floor.
Okay. What media means? Media is the plural of word medium, is a communication tool. It is considered as fourth pillar of democracy. And India is the largest democracy in the world. So the role of media increases here. A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Today, I, Yajvin Mahajan, is going to present my views on the topic Media is an effective tool for influencing the society. India is a secular state. People of different religions and cultures reside here. So, media can be used as a tool to convey a message of peace and religious harmony. Preachers of various religions can be given airspace to convey a message of brotherhood. Nowadays, people are prone to TV and smartphones. So, this can be used as a tool to provide documentaries, short films, and movies featuring our national heroes. This will cultivate a feeling of nationalism. Technology is changing day by day. So media can be used as a tool to provide to aware people about the changing healthcare facilities and educational techniques, agriculture techniques, and many more things. Indian flora and fauna are occupy a rich place in the hearts of people. So media can also present a vast view of our Indian culture, architecture, and tradition. This will increase the feeling of affinity in the hearts of people, which will help in exchange of ideas between the different between the different people of regions of our country. At last, I would like to say that the relation of media and society is like a fuel and engine. In the pre-independence era, the fuel pushed the struggling engine towards freedom. And now the fuel needs to be pure so that engine could work efficiently and make India
Now, Avika,
Hi, Yajwin. Yajwin, do you know about targeted defamation and media being bribed, especially about the news channels? So, how can we trust something that we are watching on the television? Especially in the case of politicians, they use the news channels to build their image during the elections. So, how could we really trust whatever we are watching?
Yes, that is right. That media is being the puppet of the, you can say, influential politicians. But like it also depends on our mentality that media also provides us that what politicians are doing wrong in our country. There is not only one channel, news channel of our media. There are several other channels that also tells us first, like politicians are how they are spoiling our country. So that can be used to, so we can, like you can
Okay,
say.
thank you.
Anna.
So, like you mentioned that you would like to spread the culture through the media. So, would you like to elucidate about it? Like, what do you actually want to say? Because it may be very difficult as there are many fake rumors and fake stuff going on media, on social media.
I think I have talked about the spreading of culture, and your question seems irrelevant because like spreading a culture and spreading a rumor are quite different things. So the question I think was not related to my topic, and that's it.
All right, Raj Yadav, you can ask your question.
Yeah, I'll support your answer, but question. But I'm having a concern that can you explain the this all of the cultural text in the form of influencers who are also participating, greatly participating in promoting these things. In your own words, can you explain it in a better manner? Yes, so you can also use like there are many vlogging channels on social media, like YouTube is also part of it. And like if the vlogging channels are subjected to vlog to the Indian architectural places, and the media also shows such places, so I think it could propagate our Indian culture and raise the feeling of affinity. Like
Just
we just
for
gave a
safe.
glimpse of that, but I'm asking like how they are mainly attempting to give the uh, perception that they are feeding in the minds of people that they should have a travel experience there and have search for the cultural and cultural and religious pattern of different places. I'm asking that. Sorry, I'm not getting your question. That what you are trying to ask. Like how it attracts people to go those places. Like you just said that by blogging method, but I'm asking in a deep manner. Uh, you watch the big influencers traveling to foreign countries, and like you can say you also condemned to visit there. But if these influencers can will travel to the cultural sites in India, so I think that it will also influence the people in that way to travel to that places and see that what is there. They will make a picture of that place in the minds, and we will, like you can say.
Justin?
Yes, ma'am. You mentioned it's the fourth pillar of democracy. But what about media trial? It is media trial is when a person is accused before even found guilty. How is this not undermining the judicial system of a country? If media is the fourth pillar of democracy, it is undermining the third pillar. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, that's true that the media like prove guilty to a person who is not even guilty by showing like fake rumors and
All right, we'll go ahead to the next speaker now. Just wait for a sec. We have Shubhra Mishra, who will be giving a speech against the motion. You may have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone present here. I am Shubhra Mishra of class 9 from Patanjali Rishikul, Prayagraj. So, today I am going to oppose the motion, that the media is an effective tool for influencing the society. So, let me start with the social media that is the most widely used social media. Remember, while the truth is still tying its laces, lie has reached halfway. So any fake or inappropriate information spreads like a wildfire on social media, and we people get so much influenced by it that we even forget to check whether it's right or wrong. And it can even be a threat to one's life by leaking their personal information. While it's very useful for the companies as they start sending target advertisements to people and make them buy the products which they don't even need very much. And then many people start comparing themselves to by looking at the post of the others, like other photos and videos, and this may give a rise to the feelings like envy and jealous and hatred. And debates and discussions are held on news channels, but they are not very coherent, as most of their topics include politics and religion. And movies are also very common type of broadcast media which influence the people, but most of the movies give a negative moral, but people get influenced by it because when they see their idol doing something, like their favorite actress or actor doing something, they also start doing it without bothering whether it's right to do or not. So all these things show that media is not a very good tool to influence the society, and it's influencing the society in a negative way.
All right, questions for Shubhra. Ganesh?
Yes. Um I just want to ask that you denoted that movies, some of the movies which contain your favorite idols, and you get negative moral from that movie sometimes, and you get influenced by them, and we copy them. So why to get affected by the negative moral if we take it positively, and if we just keep it aside, uh, we may not be affected, no?
Okay, thank you for asking that question. And I would like to say that it depends totally on the person's point of view. Like a film, a very like famous film in 2019, Joker came. So the main character was Joker, and he was pictured as we can say, a devil in that. So many people get influenced with that. Yes, he is a very good character, and we should take the positive views from him. But on the other side, the people who got negatively influenced by him, so that is totally their fault. So it's a perspective.
Manya?
So don't you think that media helps in raising voices, as without media it's not possible for everyone to post something? What would you like to say about that? Should I repeat?
It's audible.
Actually, you are speaking too fast. I didn't understand.
I'll repeat it. So don't you think that media helps in raising our voices, as without media it's not possible for everyone to post something? What would you like to say about that?
Of course, media is giving a platform to raise a voice, but I said not that it totally depends on people. Some people are raising their voice in a negative way. They are giving us negative point of views, and people are, yes, they are getting influenced by negative things, and they lead like this leads to the development of negative character in them. So it depends on people.
Aditya Tomar?
Yes, I would like to ask that you said in media is used for negative influence, but it is also used for positive influence. So can you please explain me that?
Media is used for both the influence, but the people are taking, like, it depends on people what they are taking. Many people are taking the negative influence, like these days we are seeing people getting influenced by the influencers on social media and they are copying them. So it's not a good thing to take the negative ones, because negative ones are more than the positive.
Vihan?
Yes. So you are against the topic, right? So my question is, if you're against the topic that media is an effective tool for influencing the society, you continuously mention that media does influence people in a positive way. Now, with this, you mean to say that media is influencing people somehow. So you're kind of proving your point wrong.
We can't say that media does not influence the people. Here, the point is that media influences the people, but in a negative point, because it will influence. But the point is that it will influence in positively or negatively. We can't say that it does not influence.
The topic of the debate is media as an effective tool for influencing the society. It does not
So it's
mention negative or positive.
So it's not influencing effectively. It is like effectively means it is influencing us in a positive way. It is not affecting us like if it is not affecting us in a positive way. It is affecting us in a negative way.
But it is affecting us.
Negative way to influence.
Right. Thank you.
All right, we'll have Resham.
Yeah, ma'am. Shubhra, you've been mentioning about also social media influencers who've been. So what you're trying to say is people have been influenced, whether negatively or positively. The topic is whether it has been effective to influence, and what you're trying to prove here consecutively is that it has been effective in influencing. It has been effective to influence people, whether positive or negative. So aren't you sort of straying away from the topic which has been provided to you?
It is influencing, but the topic was it is an effective way, but it's not effective. Like it's affecting in a very negative way, and it leads to the negative lead to like development of negative character in the people.
Thank you. We'll go ahead with Adrika Mishra now. Adrika, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
All right, she'll be giving her speech against the motion.
Ma'am, just a second. Just give me a second. Wait a second.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please tell me when is my chance, Manya Muchal?
Sure,
Okay.
just wait a sec.
Ma'am, I'm ready.
Ma'am, can you test this? All right, I'll drop this list in the chat box. You can look
Okay,
at
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'm ready.
just a sec.
So,
Yes,
social
Adrika,
media.
you can.
Honestly, I sometimes truly wish that tools such as phones, laptops, iPads, tablets, etc. hadn't been invented. Sure, they're great, incredibility, useful, and fun time killers, but the way teenagers abuse them and turn them into many social control rooms is frankly awful. At first glance, you might think this code came from a parent or a grandparent lamenting on disadvantages of social networking and how social media has doomed all of us to raise children's life. But if it was written by a Seattle area 10th grader as part of an assignment to answer the question, how has online social networking influenced your relationship and your friends and family? So we see that
In today's world, teenagers are completely adapted on social media. They are busy making Snapchats, Reels on Instagram, and they're just scrolling the mobile. They don't even get out the time from the mobiles to just go and ask their parents for a cup of tea or anything. They never ask. What else is more important than a family in any day world? No phone, no social media can take place of the family. So I would like to continue this by saying this is a two-part article gleaned from reviewing the essays of a class of 10th grader who also is completely against social media. The disadvantages of social media I would like to say is lack of emotional control. In a couple of days, we see that many of the children will take out time from their daily work. So thank you.
Thank you. We'll have question from Abhika Giri.
Hi, Adrika. I think in the major part of your speech, you actually differed about social media. But let's consider like newspapers. You know, they reach every nook and corner of our nation, and they are so effective at actually uh, delivering the thoughts of the people. And in the newspaper, there's like on the daily basis, there is one page of the city where they keep every problem that the people are facing. So, what are your views on that?
Okay, so are you ever sure what the editor is writing? Have you ever gone to their office or have you ever asked them that is this news correct?
I'm like talking about that page, about the people, what problems they are facing, and about the the thoughts that they are taking from that. Not about what's the editor's point of view, but about the news and the problems of the city. Shall I repeat?
It's all right, Abhika. We'll go ahead with the next question. All right, Adrika left. We'll wait for 15 to 30 seconds if she rejoins. Since Adrika isn't joining back due to time constraints, we shall go ahead with the next candidate. Alina Siddiq will be giving her speech again in favor of the motion. Please go ahead.
Jim Morrison said, whoever controls the media controls the mind. Today, in a world which revolves around technology, has welcomed new opportunities in our lives. Today, I, Alina, is going to speak in motion for the topic, media is an effective tool for influencing the society. What is an effective tool? Something that is effective, works well, and produces the results that were intended. Media is an effective tool for influencing the society. This is the truth. From new trends to every news, we are surely influenced by it somewhere in our life. Our clothing, food, lifestyle, and even our culture is affected. Media can be used as a very effective tool for influencing the society and can have negative effects too. And it is rightly dependent on the person. We start our day with news and end our day with news. It is the media which keeps people updated and informed what is happening around them, and a world that everyone draws something from it. Generating visibility around social, ethical, environmental, and political views or issues, spreading educational material quickly and efficiently, providing companies with new opportunities. Media is taking over the world. In the social effect, the information creates common knowledge of a norm and enhances social coordination as individuals more readily accept the information if they believe others have also accepted it. So we can clearly see that media strongly influences our society. Media is a conversation. Media is a customer service. Media is advertising. Media is connectedness. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav Shiva.
Yep. So, Alina, people have become aware that governments, private corporations, and social leaders have vested interest in steering the media through propaganda films, fake interviews, and other stuff. How and people know that when people are aware of that, they tend to trust the media less. They tend to trust the news less. How do you how do you think the people who already trust the media less are affected by the media? Most people know that they are being controlled by by these big organizations.
I know most of the people know, but as I already said, that when certain community of people believe that this is the truth, then even the person who would question it would strongly agree with their opinion. Do you not agree to this point? Whereas when we come to this point where we see that the government is controlling the media or something, but still, why do people watch news today if they know that it is so much controlling? They are still willing to know what is going on in the society. And as an individual, I stand here before you and say that we have our own minds and we can form our own opinions, but media surely does have an influence on that too.
Can I have a follow-up, please?
Denied, sorry. Ignore call.
Yes. Hi, Alina. As you said that the media is, the people are influenced by the media, like for clothing and some other purposes. But people tend to compare their lives with the others using this. It may be the clothes, education, or something else. What would you like to say about this?
Okay, so coming to the fashion and clothing trends today, if we come from 2000s to the era of 2020, whether it is about jeans, whether it is about crop tops, we're not following a real culture and heritage if we see towards our clothes. And where has this come from? This has come from media. When we started to get the internet and when we got connected to the real world, the Western countries have influenced us, and this is clearly visible.
All right, we'll have Navya Verma.
Okay, hi Arena. So basically, you say that media strongly influences people. So media everywhere, we know that media everywhere encourages people to follow their fundamental duties, but we know that we still have problems related to cleanliness and sanitation. So what are your comments on it? Like why media didn't influence people here?
I hope that you know that when the Modi government was trying to influence people, media was the first thing. Whether it was through mass communication by putting posters or going to schools, whether it was verbally, media is just not about on social platforms, but it's about what we communicate. And as I heard earlier participants saying that how do small towns get influenced with each other, media is just not a platform. It can be through verbal communication, can be through paper, books, with anything. That's mass communication and media. So strongly, media did influence.
We can have Vidushi.
Okay, yeah. Alina, as you stated that media is an effective tool, I want to know that how do you see media in the next 10 years?
See, if we say from past 10 years, media has played a very important role. And it will play a very important role in future generations too. For example, let's say 10 years back, people were not using Facebook or Instagrams or any social media platform that rapidly. But in today's growing world, everyone wants to get connect. On click of a second, you can get the message to the other person. On click of a second, you can hear a rumor and form an opinion on that. How is it happening? So in the next 10 years, media is surely going to grow more. And there will be more opinions, judgments, and that's where we are going to stand for. We are going to see what is right and what is wrong. Media strongly influences the society, but to take it in a positive or negative way, it is up to us.
We'll have Vihang.
Yes. You said that media has been influencing people. Now, since years and years, people are trying to make awareness about nature. They're trying to tell people save nature. Now, I agree, people are taking very small baby steps, aren't they? And they are doing protests. But how is that going to help nature? We have to take more than baby steps. How is media influencing people now?
Okay, media's work is to create awareness. It can create awareness, but it cannot force people.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. With this, we'll go ahead with the next candidate. Aryan Jan will be giving speech against the motion. Please have the floor.
Good afternoon, dear adjudicator and my fellow mates. Today, the motion in the House is media is an effective tool for influencing the society. I strongly oppose this topic. I feel the media is influencing the society negatively. Let me start by giving some examples. Let me give an example of my grandmother. She daily watches news, and during the conflict of Russia versus Ukraine, when she was watching the news, there were some clips played of video games as she is not much aware, and she was thinking that there is war, the war going on there was just like that, and she's so confused. The media is just selling information. There people can buy information on media also. I can tell media is just um, is just there for TRP and all. They just want money. And during the elections also, you could see the media was only supporting the BJP party and was not showing the things done by the Congress. So you can strongly see that where is media lacking, and you can see how media can impact others. When uh, when I was seeing the news, it created an opinion because the news was so false that I made a false opinion. And when I was talking about in the groups, I had not a proper opinion about it.
Thank you, Aryan. We'll go. Are you over?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Kindly turn on your cameras during the argumentation round
Yes,
also.
ma'am.
Adya, you can go ahead.
Hi, Aryan. As you mentioned about the partial behavior of the media towards a particular party in the election, I would like to ask you that media is regarded as the fourth pillar of the democratic India. Am I right? And the 138 crore people believe on this. We do rely our trust on it each and every single day, whether the written, whether the social, every kind of media. Okay, so and it is being followed by every class, whether the backward, whether the lower middle, or the upper. All watch this media. So how can you point out the media on being partial, or in which way they present a particular information to the people? How? Because the 138 crore people, you can't judge. If you are even a psychologist, you can't even learn about the psychology of the 138 crore. Please, I would like to
Just a sec before Aryan goes ahead. This is for everyone. For the sake of asking you a question, you're not required to give a comment or give a speech of 1 minute. Questions shall range up to 20 to 25 seconds max. That is like the standard thing.
Okay, sorry, ma'am.
Aryan, go ahead.
So, like you said, I can tell there are two parties. They both are working, but the media is showing the brighter side of the party which is in power, because they know if they show the party in power, they'll get more TRP and they'll get support from that party, and they don't want to show the negative side, because then if they show that, they'll surely be trashed some or the other way. And there are so many cases, and I've seen when journalists speak up against that party, they will try to the yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, Pavni, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Aryan, you just said that media is having impact or negative impact on your opinion about or whatever is going on across the world. But I think the topic says that you have to explain. I think you're speaking in against emotion. So I think did you actually prove that media definitely has an impact.
I proved the impact is such a is such negative that people are developing mindsets which are so wrong. So that's what I was proving, the negative impact and what people are thinking after seeing the news, the
Am
false
I allowed to
bribed
continue?
news.
Excuse me, am I allowed to continue?
No, it was said in the initial stage only that follow-ups are denied because eventually, if we allow follow-up on every question, there would be hardly 2 to 3 questions. So, Bihan, go ahead.
First of all, you proved your point. You proved that media does influence people. But keeping that aside, you said that media is partial towards a party A than party B. Now, how do you? Media is a platform. It is a stage. It is not people on an AI promoting someone. It is the people. So, why do you think that social media or media is promoting someone? It's the people doing that. Please answer.
Actually, I wanted to say they don't they are not thinking from our perspective. They are just always thinking from their perspective, and they just want to do something in which it's their profit. Why will they show something in which they will not gain any profit?
Who is there?
All right, thank you. We can have Vishudhi.
Yes, Aryan, as you were completely against media, I want to know that what kind of improvements do you think is required for media to become effective for the society?
A correction, the media should always they're like there should be a people's opinion in the media, and they should first thoroughly check all the information before publicating, and they should always interact with the people so that they come to know what we are thinking of after seeing their information.
I mean, media takes opinions of like every person.
Thank you. We'll have. Since due to time constraints, we can go ahead with the next candidate, Ela BG, who will be giving her speech for the motion. My apologies. Ela, please go ahead.
Ma'am, can I do it from the start? I was interrupted in between.
Sure, go ahead.
Quote, media is nothing but a simple mirror between the government and its people. Unquote. Namaste and a very good afternoon to the judge panel of this national debate competition and its supporting staff. First and foremost, I would like to thank my school and the Ball Education Trust for giving me this splendid opportunity. So let us go ahead. India, a democratic form of government, has media take up a huge part in its play. Half of the dispatch given by government officials is feeded by the media. And the way we think, act, or react is based on the atmosphere we are in, and media promptly provides this. The way we adults and teens think about our surroundings is based on what the media showcases. The press in India influences the young and old alike. The advisors of today and the country of tomorrow both solemnly depend on making a bright future, depending on what is showcased through the media in the right way. Media is also our window to the outer world's happenings. It provides us the right awareness at the right point of time. Be it the radio, newspaper, or the televisions, many of the protests and rallies are based on what the media showcases, and thereby it brings about the suitable change in our society that we desire. The attitude and is greatly shaped by good association and influence. I would like to thereby state that media is an effective tool for influencing the society. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go with Manya Mushchal.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, you said what media shows. So media can also prove a guilty innocent and an innocent guilty. What would you like to say about that?
Yes, they certainly sometimes do, but the fact is that we too do have an individual opinion about it, and we can really see that in real life. For example, if somebody is pointed out to be guilty in the court, and the media showcases the other way around, but the court does provide the correct judgment on the basis of the evidence. So, media does not always provide the wrong information.
Thank you. Adrika Mishra.
Yes. Yes, hi Ila, it's Adrika this side. So I want to ask you a question that according to you, to whom would you like to give importance more? Either to your family or social media. So as we see in today's world, teens are completely addicted on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. So what do you have to say about this? That teens are completely addicted and they don't even have time for their families.
Well, actually, I did not mention anything about social media and people being addicted to it. Like in many cases, the people move towards their friends and family closer. Like if their family or friends are staying abroad, they get a better chance at talking to them through Instagram and other social media platforms too.
Thank you. Aditya Tomar, go ahead.
Hi, Ela. Agrima this side. I would like to say that first you said that media can be used to give right information at the right time. But don't media sometimes give false information too? What are your opinions about that? May I know?
See, sometimes they do, but it is our duty to foster what is required and the rest to be omitted. And the right awareness at right point of time was like during the start of the COVID pandemic, the media provided the information at the particular point just before complete outbreak. Otherwise, this pandemic would have extended for an even longer time.
Thank you. Miss Avika Giri.
Hi, Ilya. So I think I've watched that famous whitening cream ad where if you're a dark shaded person or if your skin tone is dark shaded, you'll get kicked out of the interview. What do you think is the impact of such advertisements that were going on television everywhere for like 10 years back?
Well, many people do go down stuff like that, but we do need to have some self-confidence within ourselves and self-courage to stand up against people who criticize us unwantingly just to get self-pleasure. That is not required to put somebody else down by trying to showcase yourself upward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shrayam Shah.
Yes, ma'am. So, in your speech, you talked about that media helps us to create a society that we desire, but I completely disagree with that point. The current society is filled with hatred, rage, violence, riots. So, the very reason for this is the media. How do you connect that with your speech?
Well, despite the many protests and rallies that are going against the society's majority, there might be a key reason behind it that the media pointed out that the government hadn't looked into. And thereby, there are many protests and rallies in order to bring about that change. That maybe the minority had a problem.
Riots, not rallies.
All right, with this, I suppose we have come to the end of this argumentation round. Sorry, Adrika and Avika, we cannot give a second chance to anyone. So, Resham will be the next candidate giving her speech against the motion. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Hello, everyone. My name is Resha Mone, and I'll be speaking against the motion. In dictatorships, media is controlled by the state. In democracies, it is controlled by the rich and the mighty. Effective and independent media is only an illusion. In order to be an effective tool to influence society, the media should be able to be a catalyst, bringing about desired changes. The crores of rupees spent on media campaigns against social evils such as alcoholism, drug addiction, illiteracy, female feticide, and casteism have gone down the drain. Had the media been an effective tool to influence society, it would have helped eliminate such social evils. In order to be an effective tool, media should produce the results that were intended. On the contrary, the media has unleashed new demons. Instead of creating a positive impact on society, politicians and businessmen have used media to exploit and manipulate people. In the name of connecting people and giving access to information, Facebook, WhatsApp, and other social media companies have stolen user data and sold it to companies who manipulate and hound us with their marketing propaganda. This is not influencing, but manipulating and exploiting the public. Democracy limps today as the media has failed in its duty as the fourth pillar. As a puppet of the government, the media dances to their tunes. Films, TV, and OTT platforms, along with social media, have become agents of hatred, inciting violence, riots, and disintegrating a peaceful society. An effective medicine is one that treats the disease without any side effects, but the media has only given harmful side effects and no relief. Hence, it is not an effective tool to influence the society. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead with questions. Shubhra Mishra.
Yes, ma'am. As she said that media has like it's not that the media is not proving itself the fourth pillar of the democracy. But I say that media provides a platform for the people to share their views, and this is the basic definition of the democracy that it's a government where people get the right to share their views. So how will you like share your ideas on this?
I'm afraid your question, you're talking about democracy being effective or not, but the topic here is media being effective. I'm not talking about
No, you
democracy.
said that the media can't prove itself the fourth pillar of the democracy. So how?
Right, it has greatly been ineffective in doing that. Well, you could say it has been a puppet of the government. For example, BJP, it controls so many news channels. You could say, for example, NDTV, Congress controls NDTV, and all the news and all their propaganda is strongly influenced by Congress. And for example, for India Today, for example, BJP heavily controls the news channel. So that could be one of the few examples how it's failed as the fourth pillar of the democracy.
Thank you. Siddharth Shah.
Ma'am, you mentioned in your answer that NDTV is controlled by the Congress party, but there's no proof about this. It is just an allegation, which is not proven.
Well, there have been quite a lot of such instances. I wouldn't want to go in depth. That is right. If you don't talk about news channels, even otherwise, you could say movies, for example, Kashmir Files being one of them. Everyone knows what how the controversies were. In fact, a Netflix web series, Netflix series Ludo, it had a lot of Hindu-phobic content as well as other such TV shows. So yeah, that's one of the few examples.
We'll have Alina Siddiq.
Okay, so as you said, that it is manipulated and it does not influence the society. So I would like you to answer, how is it actually manipulating? Because when we talk about exploitation and other things, we are surely knowing that whenever we download or open an app, which is social media platforms as you're talking about, it always asks us information. And even if we visit a certain website, it asks for cookies. Cookie stands for that you're giving the information by yourself. Even the Google itself has this situation. So how will you define?
Right. I would say let's take an example. When you install Facebook, for example, I'm living in Delhi. And if I install Facebook right now, when I install it, it would give me instigating news. For example, if there are riots going on in Delhi, in Shaheen Bagh or someplace, it would give me content related to that. It would give me instigating news. For example, it would say a Muslim just burnt a Hindu's house, a Hindu attacked a Muslim's kid, instigating news like that. So all these Facebook and WhatsApp, you could say WhatsApp had recently started spreading false news and anti-Muslim, anti-Hindu news. A lot of times, this has been controlled by the government. So in that way, it is manipulating. It's not the people's fault. It is in fact the media's fault, and social media being one of them. Facebook manipulating them and giving them such information which makes them think against such topics.
All right, thank you. Adya Mishra.
Hi, Reshma. As you said that media is the puppet of the government, on the hands of the government. So how do you can prove? Because you don't have any authentic proof about that. And what do you expect from the media to do? To tell you the truth about the investigations happening by the CBI? What do you expect the media to do?
Well, first of all, my name is Resham, not Reshma. And secondly, the desired changes which are expected by the media is communal harmony. It is economic and social development. It's better living standards, equality. And you could say it has been unsuccessful in doing that. Could you tell me the last time where you've not seen any riots happening in the country? Or you could say you could take yesterday's example. In fact, the riots and all happening in Udaipur. That's one of the few examples.
Thank you so much, and sorry for mispronouncing your name.
Thank you. Due to time constraints, we shall go ahead with the Agrima Singh, who will be giving speech for the motion. You may have the floor.
The media plays an important role in establishing and perpetuating social norms. The debate around media is an effective tool for influencing today's society is such an innate topic, and I have some great opinions about it. A very good morning, everyone. I'm Agrima Singh from Devati Modi Academy, and I'm here to speak in favor of the topic. Media has changed the way we communicate with each other. Let it be Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, or a host of other apps. Hasn't it given us an immediate way to communicate with our friends, families, and those who share our interests? Media has grown out to be the most important and influential virtual space. Here, the platform is not only used for social networking, but is also used for a great way to advertise digitally. Hasn't it become an integral part of our daily lives? With internet on our fingertips, social media can be used to communicate with everyone at any time and anywhere in this world. Many big YouTubers like Carrie Minati, Triggered Insan, BBQ Wines, Ashish Chanchalani, Factix, and etc. all have grown so big just by being influenced by social media and each other. And hey, we can't just forget about Shark Tank, which shows entrepreneurs to make business presentations in front of a panel of investors. It has taught many people to learn to believe in themselves. Wasn't it influenced by social media? And it was a successful hit. And to quote the latest example, what was happening in Rajasthan now, the government has to put restrictions on internet because it was influencing the public opinions. Now, I would like to end this discussion by the saying of Malcolm X, media is the most powerful entity in the world. It has power to control the minds of the masses. It can prove the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll have questions for her now. Ignore Kaur.
You said that media is the most powerful entity in this world. Then why do cyberbullying, corruption, and non-violence still exist here? These are also because of media.
After that, I also added a line that it controls the mind of the masses and it has the power to prove the guilty innocent and the innocent guilty. And it basically differs on the perspective of a person. Like, it's not our fault that the other person is engaging into cyberbullying, and I do agree that cyberbullying is happening because of media, but there's also cyber police. We can complain to them and they can really be helpful.
Adya Mishra.
As you mentioned about some famous YouTubers, so that's the only way they earn. That's the only way they earn. So how would you say that through their work, the minds are being influenced in a bad way? Because I am following them, but I don't find anything non controversial with their content. So please, can you explain?
Actually, I said that those YouTubers are big names, and I didn't say anything about them giving a negative impact.
Okay.
Myself follow them.
All right, Adrika Mishra, you can go ahead.
Yes. Yes, I would like to ask you that you said that many of the channels, such as Ashish Islani, BBQ Wines, etc., you said that they influence. But many young children at the age of 10 to 11, they start watching the YouTube channels, and actually, what do you know that all the channels don't have the good content, so that they bring us a negative impact on the young children. So, what do you have to say upon that?
What I have to say upon that is that they also do not have in more like, they don't only have bad content, they also have good content. And I also added so on after that. So that means not just them, there are much more YouTubers. And I also added the name of Factex, if I remember, and they give you the facts of around the world and many science facts. So that's good for 10 to 11 children.
All right. Can we have ignore?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually my turn is done. By mistake, the hand was raised.
All right. Any more questions? Swayam.
You talked about the big YouTubers of India and talked about Carrie Minati and BBK Vines and so on, but they often use strong vulgar language for their videos. Isn't this spreading a negative impact on the society? And the major viewers of those YouTubers are small kids. So aren't you teaching small kids such vulgar content?
I do agree they use vulgar contents, but first thing I want to tell you that not every small child is watching them. And another thing, if there's a there's a mode in YouTube in which you can put restriction on such kind of video. And sorry, my video is getting disconnected again and by again. And I also would like to say that after that I also added so on. So it's not just about Carrie Minati and BBQ Wines. There are also many art channels. They can watch art, and there are many dance channels, like there are many dance schools, music channels, and other types. So they can go in other types too. It depends on them.
Thank you. Adrika Mishra.
Ma'am, due
Yes,
to
I would like
network
to.
issue, my
Yes, I would like you to answer
Just
my
a second,
question.
Adrika. I think, just a second, Adrika. I think she said that she's having network issues. So in that
yes,
case, we'll
ma'am.
go with
That's why my video is not opening again and again. I'm trying.
noted, noted, no issues. We'll go ahead with Manya, who will be giving a speech against the motion.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, can you see me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Media is not a potent to influence society. It is a shoddy tool to manipulate the public. Simply media without any prefix attached to it makes no sense, I believe. Controversial stories are reported and printed with no reliance of it being a fact or not. The public is meant to believe everything they're told and not question it. It should be corrected, calibrated, edited by the media, which should make sense to influence the societies across the geographies, age groups, etc. I believe responsible and accountable media should make sense. Hello everyone, I am Manya Muchal of Madhya Pradesh Indore, and today I am going to speak about media is an effective tool to influence society, and I am against the motion. Media in itself opens a plethora of things served on your table. You are considered a commodity in the world who can be influenced and directed. But we need to be alert as it is very decide to believe, reflect, respond, react to these inputs from media only. Media once upon a time was sacred, adored, believed, worshipped many times. Now it's media balance, media houses, corporate lineages, incessant targets, inputs, etc., which makes the entire arena shady. Even many businesses effectively use social media to promote their products and connect with customers. However, social media can also pose a risk to companies. Not only social media can interfere with productivity, but information shared on social media can do real damage both to co-worker and relationships as well as the brand. The adoption of new technologies such as television, smartphones, and social media often leads to fears of decline to face-to-face interactions and the potential for decreased happiness, separation from the real world. Media not only influences the world but also the health of people. Media messages can have a negative or unhealthy influence on people's behavior and attitudes in certain areas, including health and citizenship. Productivity decline. We spend time scrolling through the media instead of using our precious time to do something creative. Even fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news. We have less control on who we are and what we believe. At last, I would like to say that technology that connects us also controls us. Therefore, we cannot say that media is an effective tool to influence society. Thank you.
Thank you, Manya. Vihan, go ahead.
In your speech, you said that media not only affects something, but it also affects people's health. So you were supposed to speak against that media is an effective tool for influencing the society. So didn't you just prove your point wrong that media does affect influence people?
Yes, media do affect people, but see, it also affects negatively. And I wanted to say that media affects the people's negatively, and that was my topic.
So you mean to say positively or negatively, media does affect people, proving that media is an effective tool to influence the society. This means that proved your point wrong yourselves.
Not actually. Media we all know that is an effective tool to influence society, but sometimes this can be used this can be a negative point of media. That's all what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Positive, it is the same.
All right. Thank you. Adya Mishra, go ahead.
Manya, as you said that media affects the people in a negative way, but we are in a race of career right now. So now the media is the biggest tool for us to be influenced in a positive way, to become, to get connected with our idols. It's the guiding light for us. So would you please justify this, my point, my perspective to what you spoke right now?
Can you please repeat your question?
I just asked nowadays media is the most effective tool for us, for the youth, to connect to our idols, to the one we admire, and the media guides us to the light. What is wrong, what is right? So would you please prove me this point?
Yes, but this can also happen like we start comparing ourselves, because if you say about those idols who like we are influenced by, we'll start comparing ourselves with people who are living a picture perfect life. That could be a negative side of media, especially social media.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no more questions, I think we can go ahead with the next speaker, Ashvika Agarwal, who will be giving her speech in favor of the motion.
Media provides entertainment, information, and add values in our life. Media plays a very vital role in our life. It is the only medium through which a news can be spread in masses and everyone receives it. During lockdown, can you even imagine your life without social media? Not at all. On 22nd March 2020, Indian government had declared nationwide lockdown and the news had spread between 1.31 billion Indians. Do you think it was possible without the media? Social media acts like a group therapy session as it fosters empathy. Each of us spend a long time talking about ourselves on social media. When we share our experiences, whether good or bad, we are either inspiring someone or helping someone to come out from a situation. During the independence period, freedom of the press was of utmost importance as it was a powerful tool to propagate political ideas. It was through newspaper that our freedom fighters had brought up the reality and the cruelty of the Britishers. There was so much of literature that had been published in the newspapers, which inspired people to fight against the British Raj. I would like to ask you all a question. Do you still think that media has a negative effect on a society, or was it a negative perspective which did not let us see the reality? As rightly said by Walt Whitman, keep your face towards the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you. Thank you.
All right, we'll take questions. Adya Mishra.
Ashvika, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah.
Okay. As you said that the media influences the society, and during the lockdown, it was the most major part. We cannot imagine our life without it. So, media includes the news itself. So, were you being motivated by seeing all those deaths around, by seeing the criticism that we were receiving, what the other countries were receiving, what was the condition in our country and other countries, the burning bodies and all that? Were you being positive from it? So would you please explain how media acted as a positive way in influencing us in a good way during that lockdown and COVID session?
Thank you for the question, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm sure you must remember that our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, had asked us all to light up a candle or a diya, or if you don't have anything, just to open a torch. I hope you remember that time. I would like to ask you, what was the medium that had brought you this information? It was through the media. On media, our Prime Minister was able to have a conversation with the rest of the country. It was through the media that we were able to, come to know that we are supposed to wear masks, sanitize our hands, maintain social distance. And it is again through the media that people, especially the people who come below the poverty line or the ones which are not literate, they were negatively influenced by someone against the COVID-19 vaccines. But it was again the media that had brought up the reality. Through media, we came to know that yes, there are few people who are negatively influenced. And therefore, our government arranged campaigns in those remote places as well as the villages so that people understand the value of vaccine, the value of wearing masks, sanitizing their hands, maintaining social distance. It was again through media, and I firmly believe that media has the positive influence on the society.
Thank you for your answer.
All right, we'll go ahead with Resham.
Hey Ashvika, you spoke about what you mainly spoke about was spreading awareness and information, but what about it? What about the influence? What about it bringing desired changes? What do you think about that?
So, Resham, when you're talking about, do you mean about the fake news or the negative perspective of the people? I didn't find your question really clear.
No, what I basically meant was about media. You were mainly talking about it spreading awareness and information to the people. What I'm trying to ask is, what do you think about media influencing people or bringing desired changes to the country, to the world? What do you have to say about that?
Okay. So when I'm talking about the desired changes, you must be knowing about the Black Lives Matter. It is again through the media that this topic had been spread around the world, and an amendment has been made in the Constitution of the United States of America, one of the strongest and the most powerful country of the world. Even that country had to change its constitution because of media, because of the influence, as we come to know what people had been, going through from such a long time. So yes, I believe that media does bring the desired changes, but again, the changes depend. Always, the media isn't blamed. It isn't media's fault for the negative desires and for the negative changes. I agree. There were few changes because of the media that had negatively influenced the society. But it wasn't the media's fault. It was a society's fault that had brought up the change, that had, taken that step that yes, we should change this. And it had acted negatively. So I believe that you shouldn't be blaming the gun, you should blame the killer. So social media is always having a positive influence, and even if it does has a negative influence, it is not the media's fault. It is our society's fault. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashvika.
All right, we'll have Alina Siddiq.
Okay, Ashvika, you said that media does not affect this society in a negative way, and that even if it influences, it's the society's fault. But isn't media made for society's work, for some for society's benefit? Then why is it not its task? If it is affecting it positively, why won't it affect it negatively?
As I mentioned, it depends how you take it, whether you take it in a negative manner or in a positive manner. As I mentioned, even in my speech, and I mention it again, that we shouldn't blame the bullet. We should blame the killer behind it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead with the next participant, Snavya Malhotra, against the motion. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Naga Malhotra, and I'm against the topic for today. The effect of social network from the prismatic standpoint is increasing dramatically. The network effects of the social media has robbed society of its social values and norms. It is clear that most of our youth, especially undergraduate students, have lost their control over their social media usage and begin having problems with the functionality in social, vocational, and personal circles as the internet has taken total control of their lives. They have given the social network media the indisputable power over the sense of their decision and focus. It has influenced to a great extent to what and who they connect with, what they look at, and what measures of their decision-making processes are. The negative effects of the social network on society are quite enormous. As users exposed to the unhealthy content of the social media, new trend of these influence outgrow. It is because internet users seem to underestimate the effect of media on them. They claim that everything that happens does their discretion and then they can get over with it whenever they want to. But the case remains certain. They will never want to detach themselves, and even when they want to, their mutuality with friends on the media will one way or the other attract their attention again. Now, on the media news. Everybody publishes whatever they want. Fake news websites are broadly common, publishing lies and fabricated news. Medical and psychological and social issues are a few things that media uses against us. So it is my assertion that media has a negative impact on people's lives because it causes a dissatisfaction with body, creates addiction, and can destroy interpersonal relationships. Thank you.
Thank you. We can have questions now from Ashvika.
Yes. Hi, Shubhra. You just mentioned that media, spreads fake news. But don't you think that it is again media that, comes and lets us know which news is fake or not? Could you please elaborate?
Sorry, but can you please once again repeat the last line what you asked?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. That was Navya. Okay, Navya, you just mentioned that media spreads fake news. I want to ask you, don't you think that it is again media that tells us which news is fake or not?
I think sometimes they do. Sometimes they are true, but sometimes they are wrong. But whenever they are wrong, it's, I think, their problem that they are.
We can have Vihang.
Thank you for the recognition. I have a small question. According to you, media impacts people negatively. It impacts people badly. So you were speaking against the topic. So you mean to say that media does impact people's life. It does influence people's lives in whatever way, negative or positive, but it does influence people's lives, right? And you were speaking against the topic.
No, I don't think influence it. Like, it's a bad thing, so why does it influence it? Obviously, if it's influencing, but I don't
Influencing
think
doesn't mean
like
good or
anybody
bad.
wants to. If it's in a bad way, I don't think anyone wants to like get influenced by it. They will just get passed.
But you did tell it impacts people. It does influence them, right? It does influence their decisions. It
To
does
the people who
influence.
acknowledge it. To the people who acknowledge it.
Right. Thank you for the answer.
Ela?
Yes, Navya, you were just talking about the social media. What about the other media platforms? How they have greater effects and they are mostly good. So, how would you like to respond to that?
I also talked about the news media, how they like sometimes create fake scenarios and like how they create fake news. So I talked about the news media also.
Thank you for your answer.
Great. Adrika Mishra?
Yes. Hi, Navya, it's Adrika this side. So I would like to ask you a question that media in 2 years during the lockdown time after the virtual world, many of the children, except of doing their online classes, they just went for watching YouTube. They started watching
Adrika,
Instagram, and
Adrika, I'm sorry, but your voice is like cracking.
All right. Due to network issues, we shall go ahead with Aditya. Aditya isn't responding. Shubhra?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
I said
Ma'am,
Aditya, not Raj.
no, ma'am, I'm joined with ID of Raj. Actually, it was
Okay, you are Aditya Tomar.
no, ma'am, Aditya Yadav.
Ma'am, actually, Aditya Tomar is Agrima Singh.
Yes, Agrima, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. The question I wanted to ask to Navya was that how does it negatively influence the people? Because social media can also be used to influence positively.
So
Can you
like
elaborate?
yeah, so like on news channel debates, there are different parties who people attack. Like there are always news coming upon like they the people gave up a hate speech on this person and that debates, then they start shouting and other things. They are very like people started dividing between there's a class division between the religion, class, caste. So I think it actually influence in a bad way, and it in a bad way, like class and all, class, religion, and other things.
Okay.
All right, thank you. With this, we'll have Aditya Yadav in favor of the motion. You can go ahead.
Okay. Everything new.
The timer would be reset to 2 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
Everything new starts and demolished in the era of media. Every small thing and every person's life is affected by the era of media. Every new skill and work is attached to the era of media. A well said line by Stephen Hawking is that we are connected to internet like neurons on a giant brain. Today, media is a positive pathway which is stepping towards a growth of different fields in the world. We can see by 1995 there were 16 million active users, but today there are 5,390 million active users. Companies, startups, and industries are rapidly growing and developing, and they're earning the revenue in billions because of media and advertisement or the watching which they are getting. Many things which are now possible, many information which can be transferred easily, many drawbacks of society which are corrected now, many taboos on which people can speak and talk about and discuss on media. Media helped a lot during the pandemic time, providing the precautions and measures directly from the organization to our devices, which reduced a skeleton crown condition. We are knowing that the internet is harmful. Media is supportive but also dangerous. There are many cases of media as a harmful race, but we can't object the fact that it's very important that media should be there for the welfare and the betterment of people. But about the media, it's workful, and without it, nothing would work. So, by a wonderful quote, the power of social media is the force necessary changes. I, Aditya Yadav of class 9th, rest my point and thank all the judges to allowing me to put my point.
Thank you, Aditya. Siddharth, go ahead.
Sir, you mentioned in your speech about the positive impacts, but what about the negative impacts? For example, due to the protests against the Agnipath scheme, 200 crore worth of property of India was reduced to ash, and many people died. And loss of life is a very big negative impact on the society. Yeah, that was a scheme. But can you tell how you have got the news that Agnipath, these all things have happened by the source of media? And according to you, I think you are telling the cases which are happened by the yojana which has been given by the government or the followed by government, not by the media. Media source which is getting it more spread. People are setting their views and mentality on different topics, but the correct precautions and correct information is directly given on the websites by media's path of media. Like you can see the direct or the correct information on the television channels, newspapers, which are having a real support. Then to having the crop mindset taking from here or there.
All right, Adrika Mishra.
Yes. Hi Aditya, it's Adrika this side. So I'd like to ask you a question that if media is a very influencing for us, so why so many children are suffering from mental disabilities? Doctors are saying that the problem behind their mental destruction is just because of social media. So what do you like to say about that?
I think you are wrong in the facts. Doctors have not said that they are only because of social media, and the social media has also given a regulation. If you are using Instagram, Twitter, and your other social media handle, in that also there's a particular act which is in which the section is given, in which the in Instagram it is of age 13, in Twitter it is of age 14. And in other medias, until that age, the no censored thing can be presented or shown on the that social media handle. And the other things that you have told that the doctors are saying, it is you are saying in a wrong fact. I'm correcting the fact that doctors have said that they are on a regular watching of mobiles and other medias, not only social media but also the games and other local services which are provided by the devices.
Adya?
I think the games are also part of the FM, right?
No, you can't completely take it as
All right,
games are
guys,
part
no
of.
cross questioning, as I said, no cross questioning. Adya would go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Hi, Aditya. As you said that media influences the society in way positive ways, then could you please express, is the government wrong on stopping and jamming all those network and internet and medias in the places of France and Rhodes? Would you please explain to me if media is influencing in a
I
positive way,
can
why they have banned the internet or the media over there?
Can I tell? Can I ask I am having one simple question that during the period of emergencies, whole India is been under the under the control of president. In that condition, the prime minister is not having the hold. In those conditions, because of the emergencies and the internal wars, civil wars, and the foreign wars. So not to get hyped by it and not to promote the unusual things that time, the same is done by by the people during these conditions when it is having a case of emergency or trouble. The people tend to have set the network down so that the hype should not be there, and the people could directly there should be a proper reason and way out to get those peoples and solve those problems then to promote them.
Thank you.
Last by Alina.
Okay, Aditya. I just want to ask you one thing. It If media affects the society so much and it influences it so much, then why in the emergency cases, as Adya asked, that it is not there? If it could influence it in the emergency situations, if it is creating a hype, what if it is correct, and what if it actually improves this condition?
Actually, nothing can be done by the as we have said na, that media is one part of the one part of a pillar, a fourth pillar, so it can't be handled by one. We all the four pillars should take a stand.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go ahead with the next speaker. Ignore cause against the motion.
You can't blow love. You can't download time. You can't Google all the life's answers. You must actually live your life. To the respected judges, and not to forget my worthy opponents, a very good evening. I'm Eknoor Kaur from Punjab. Today, I would like to enlighten my views standing against demotion. Media is an effective tool that's influencing our society. It's a common mindset that media has an effect on what we do and what we think. But this is not true. The job of media is to inform the public about what is happening all around the world. My grandparents' entertainment was their parents' life experience, but not this Netflix. They talk to the children, but not just Snapchatting and posting the stories for 24 hours. Yes, we all are free, living, and educated individuals. We can make up our mind ourselves, and we don't need to be poorly dependent on media for all this. The most common mistake is to think that media is one of the powerful tools of this contemporary society. If this is so, then why do corruption, cyberbullying, non-violence still exist here? Which is because of media. What has media won? Media has simply won money, publicity, and popularity. At the end, I would just like to sum up with media is making us unsocial. But I believe that there is a solution for everything. Maybe in the coming era, the media of the era would come to an end, but it may also go out of hand. It's just the matter of patience and efforts. So thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, Adya Mishra.
Hi, Ignore. As you said that media is making us less social. In short, introverts. So, would you please explain that we all have Instagram accounts, we have Facebook accounts, we interact with lots of people. We are joining this session with this debate competition through media itself, the internet, through emails, through posters, through, everything. That's a media.
Sorry to interrupt, but please repeat from the first line because there was a voice of mic at that time.
Ignore, you said that media is making us less social, but we are interacting with thousands of individuals each and every single day by reading the articles that are being published, by listening to anchors, to their views. We are interacting with thousands of individuals each day. So how you can say that media is making us less social?
Yes, we are interacting with the people all over the world, but it is also killing our relationships. Moreover, people spend much time on their screens rather than with the family. That is making us unsocial.
That's it.
All right, we'll have Bihang.
Uh, you just said that it is killing our relationships and it is killing relationship people. It is killing us to be social creatures. Now, I want to ask that: do you only consider socialism as just to be physical, to talk to each other? It should be physical. To be social is to be physical. To be near each other. Can't we talk virtually? Can't we be in a metaverse when you consent? Why do you think that social media, which is connecting us from faraway distances, is making us less social?
Yes, media is connecting us to our family and friends, but it has many negative effects also.
So, how does this answer the question that you said it is making us less social?
It is making us less social because we spend our time on the screens rather than our family.
We are talking to family with our screens, right? We're talking to friends, family, faraway relatives using the screen.
Please repeat.
We are talking to our family, to our friends, to our faraway relatives with the help of screen. So, how is it making us less social?
It's one of the positive effect, but it has negative also. The one you are referring to.
Can we have Alina?
Yes, as Eknur said that during your times of your grandparents, there was no media, and then they didn't used to post stories or something. But I would really like to point out one thing. Media is just not about social media platforms. Media can be verbal, it can be in the forms of newspapers, it can be in the form of letters, it can be of so many forms. And they were influenced by that, if I am seeing right, because from the British Raj, it is rightly said in the Bengal also, when the riots were taking place, newspaper and media played a very, very important role. So do you not agree that they were not influenced?
I didn't say that they were not influenced. I said I was talking about the social media at that time. That they didn't use post Snapchat pictures and all that stories.
Okay, thank you.
Agrana?
I would like to ask Ignore, like you said, sorry, what was the solution of the problem according to you?
Which problem?
That you talked about in the end, that every problem has a solution, and to that negative influence of media, there is also a solution. Can you please tell what's that solution according to you?
My solution is that maybe in the future the media would come to an end or media would be out of hand. But we should, as we are living in the present, we should concentrate on the present and come out from the dark into the light.
Manya?
Yes, ma'am. So, as you said that the media made us unsocial, but don't you think that during lockdown, media was the only medium which helped us connect with our peers?
Yes, it helps us in the
But
lockdown.
then you said that it made us unsocial.
But all the way, because not only there are positive ones, there are some negative effects
No, but
also.
then you have to oppose your motion. You're against the topic, you're not for the motion.
I of I said for some.
We'll go ahead with the next speaker, Samaya, who will give speech in favor of the motion. Please go ahead.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Media is omnipresent. It always has been, it always will be. It is acquired in different forms with the evolution of technology, but its impact and footprints have remained the same. Good evening to all present. Today, I, Samaya Pahava, am here to present my views for the motion Media is an effective tool for influencing society. In the words of John Dewey, society is not only supported by various forms of communication, but also enveloped in communication. Different types of communication influence each other, and media has the strongest influence of all. Ideas and opinions exchanged interpersonally are often established, reinforced, or negated by messages in the mass media. This is what it means for societies to coexist in communication. Media has the power to influence beliefs, attitudes, behavior. Communities and individuals are constantly bombarded with messages from a multitude of sources. These messages promote not only products, but moods, attitudes, and a sense of what is and is not important. Social networks play an increasingly important role in electoral politics. First, in the ultimately unsuccessful candidacy of Howard Dean in 2003, then in the election of the first African American president in 2008, and again in the Twitter driven campaign of Donald Trump. Media has also helped influence against many political agendas. The most recent example is the Roe versus Wade law that was passed in the US. Media, or more specifically social media, spread awareness about this unjust and restrictive decision. Media, without a doubt, has become our foremost medium of communication and is an extremely powerful tool. And if used correctly, can influence people and spread awareness about the things that matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have Manya?
Yes, ma'am. So as you said that media helps in campaign of elections, but if we take the example of elections in India especially, we see rallies are more effective than internet sharing. So what would you like to say about that?
Can you just repeat the last line?
See, you told that campaigns are like media affects the campaigns too for elections, but if you take the example of elections in India especially, we see that rallies are more effective than internet sharing. So what would you like to say about that?
I'm not denying that rallies and protests aren't effective, but we're also saying that social media is equally important. And we aren't just talking about India here, we're talking about all over the world. In India, it just so happens that rallies are more effective than social media.
Thank you.
All right. Can we have Ashvika?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I would like to ask you a question. You must be knowing that these news channels are 24/7 breaking news. They promise to provide you 24/7 breaking news. Don't you think that these news channels exaggerate news for their own reasons so that they can have an increase in TRP? Could you please explain?
News channels do exaggerate news, but there are also other sources and more reliable sources that spread information and are equally necessary. And news channels are also necessary because they are a habit now, and we all listen to the news even though it might be a bit exaggerated.
Pranav?
Um, so Maya, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. In your speech, you have picked some examples from the US, which where a lot of people have access to media. How do you think media impacts people who are in different societies, far away, where they do not have phones, they do not have access to the internet? How do you think media, not just social media, because print media exists, how do you think media influences those people?
I think that more people should have access to media, especially in rural areas where they don't, have access to social media. And can you just repeat your question? I'm sorry. Like the last line, at least.
Yeah. Okay. How do you think that media overall influences people in different societies who do not have access to the internet? And
Yeah, and internet isn't really necessary for
Yes.
media. I mean, people, whenever the information alters our perception and understanding, and whatever we read somehow influences us. So, I can't really say how specifically it affects people, but it definitely affects people, and we cannot deny that.
but it doesn't affect the whole of society. It impacts
No.
certain parts of society who are privileged enough to be able to express themselves online or in print forms.
people express themselves online, but people also express themselves physically during protests and rallies. And online social media isn't the only form of media. We have so many different forms of media. We have newspapers, we have podcasts, and so many new things have been introduced.
Can we have Adrika?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Hey, Samaya, it's Hadrika this side. So I like to ask you a question. Please answer to this term, digital cocaine. Won't you deny that social media is a sort of digital cocaine which keeps you addicted all the time? You know, many of the teens are just addicted on social media and they just can't leave their phones even for a single second. They just all they want is the phone and Instagram. So what would you like to say on this topic?
Social media is addictive, but I think it is up to the person to decide their addiction. I mean, I was raised in a family where, phones aren't really that important. And I understand that a lot of people don't have that sort of upbringing, but I am also addicted to social media at some extent. But I think mostly it is up to people and their willpower to understand what is right and what is wrong and see if their addiction is of any value.
All right, we'll go ahead with the next candidate. Pavni will be giving her speech against the motion.
Yes, ma'am. So, very good evening to everyone present here. Myself, Pavni Magan of Standard 9 from Patanjali Rishikul School. So, I'm presenting the topic Media is an effective tool for influencing the society, and I'll be against the motion. Starting with the quote, that the first step towards change is awareness and the second step is acceptance. So when the first step, awareness, is done by the media, and the second step is acceptance, which is in the hands of the public, that whether they will accept something or not. So now I'm going to present some points before you all which will prove that media is not effective in influencing the society. Talking about following traffic rules, we have heard a lot about in different types of media, either it be radio or newspapers or news channels or by social media platforms, that we should follow the traffic rules. We should always wear helmets during driving. We should drive with our seatbelts on. But you'll definitely see a lot of people not following the traffic rules. Another example which tells us that media is not effective is that it is always advised, and we'll see a lot of advertisements related to it, which is also a type of media. In the newspapers, you'll also see that women are advised to use clean and proper sanitary napkins during their menstruation cycle. But still, many women, like about 49.6%, are using normal cloth because they're not being provided with the correct sanitary napkins, which leads to infections and various diseases, because their husbands or their fathers do not provide them because of their mentality. So the media, had it been effective in influencing the society, they would have changed the mentality of some people, so that the women, they could have just gotten clean sanitary napkins during their menstruation cycle. Lastly, I would like to say that awareness is the greatest agent for causing a change. So if awareness is the responsibility of media, and if media is not able to fulfill its responsibility completely, then we can say that it is not at all effective in influencing the society. Thank you, everyone.
Adya Mishra.
Hi, Pavni. As you said that it's the job of the media to influence the society. Um, uh, I would like to correct you. Like, it's the fourth pillar of the democratic India. It's not the only responsibility of the media. And as you pointed out that about the traffic laws, but I deny with you. I go outside and I see people wearing helmets, wearing seat belts, and following the traffic lights, traffic rules. So how can you say that the media is not working well, is not providing what for it was made for, you know?
Hi, Adya. I would like to answer you that I live in Prayagraj, and when I move in my city, then I would see a lot of people in the market not following the traffic rules. Not they just don't see the red light happening. They just go and they do not follow the traffic rules. Talking about helmet, I've myself seen thousands of people not wearing the helmet. I didn't say that many people, like all the people, do not follow, but masses do not follow. And I think you must have seen some people at least that they do not follow the traffic rules. They do not wear the helmets.
I haven't personally, but I appreciate your answer. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Swayam Shah.
You talked about that there are still orthodox people, and it is quite disheartening to even say this that they still do not promote the use of sanitary pad. Now, the problem with that point of yours is that the job of the media is to present the information, educate the people, and tell them about it. Now, the fact that they don't do it, that is not the job of the media. The job of the media is to share the information and influence. It is not manipulating the person to do something as asked. So, the media has very well done its job.
Okay, so I would like to say something on this. Like, whenever you see an advertisement, so whenever someone is trying to influence you with their speech, or whenever you are hearing someone presenting their point in front of you, so you'd only be moved by that speech whenever they present some powerful points before you. They prove you that they are completely right, and they just present the reasons why you should believe them. So I think media is not able to completely just make the people believe that they should just change their orthodox thinking, and that's why I think they are not able to accept the new way of thinking.
Pranav.
Yep. Pavni, in your speech, you stated that media is not effective in influencing people. If that is true, then why do we see evidence of government and big corporations take control of the media? Why are there still celebrity influencers? You have not accounted the various evidence that exists of media as an influencer, like the propaganda films in your speech.
If the media is influencing, as you say, in it is just causing riots, like if we talk about the Gyan Vapi matter in Varanasi, it just caused riots throughout the India. It did not benefited the society in any way. It just got murders of the innocent people. They just didn't do anything, but still they got punished just because of the bad influence of media. So what's the point of this influence if this is not affecting the society in a positive way? What is the point of the killing of the innocent people?
But this is not fact. This is just your view of what is happening. Other people's may have different views. The truth may be different as well.
Other people definitely should have different views. I'm not manipulating someone to just believe me with their blind eyes.
Okay, thank you.
Can we have Alina?
Okay, so Pavni, I would really like to say your point of keeping that sanitary napkins, they must have spread awareness, but the people who could not get it are not getting it. First of all, the taboo that revolves around this issue is such a big taboo. Women's from like even if you see one generation above you, even our moms, our mothers, they are still unable to get rid of this taboo. So when we talk about sanitary napkins, the availability of this product, many organizations, I believe, even Yuva Yodha that I have heard of, which is an organization that our school is taking off. They are also distributing sanitary napkins in different states. So many organizations are working towards it, which are also under government. So how can you say that the government is not affecting or they cannot get it?
See, in big cities or in normal areas like Prayagraj, if you talk about, like you'll see Mumbai, Kolkata, they are developing slowly. But if you go personally to the rural areas, you'll see a lot of women suffering from this. So I think the government should do something to impact them also.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead with the next speaker, Nabe Verma, in favor of the motion. Please go ahead.
First of all, I would like to start by introducing myself. My name is Navya Verma. I am from class 9th and I represent my school Patanjali Rishikul. And today, I will be speaking in motion for the topic Media is an effective tool for influencing the society. Our world is developing day by day and we are becoming more aware of our surroundings. And all of this is possible because of media. Media can be described as any channel of communication. In this 21st century, media has become a vital part of our lives. In seconds, or in just a click, we can reach out to millions of people. Media indeed has the power to influence people and society. For instance, after the removal of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, internet services were shut down there for months to ensure that there were no negatively provoking news which could lead to violence. This signifies the power of media and how strong impact it can have on people. Another memorable instance is from the COVID period. Amid a nationwide COVID-19 lockdown, our Prime Minister appealed to citizens to light diyas and candles to fight the darkness spread by the pandemic and to appreciate the efforts of our frontline workers. Could it happen without media? I don't think so. Media also offers various NGOs to expand their work and to reach out to the ones interested in them. Here also, media plays a great role in influencing the work of these organizations and helping them for a good cause. So from all these instances, we can draw a conclusion that media has an essential part in our society in shaping and influencing it. It creates a bridge between different communities and helps in bringing out important issues. It forces necessary changes, and it can give voice to the voiceless. Thank you so much.
Aditya Tomar.
Hi Navya, I would like to say that you first said that in Jammu and Kashmir, people, the internet connections were like restricted. So I would like to add that if the internet connections were restricted, then the people living in in those particular areas would be left in the dark about what's happening around them or in another area that's about like 50 to 60 kilometers away from where they live. What's your opinion about it? May I repeat the question?
Navya, I think there's a network issues at her end because I'm able to see her stuck. So we'll go ahead with the next candidate. Ganeev Kaur will be giving her speech in favor of the motion.
Okay, ma'am. Want to be popular overnight? Just click some buttons on the social sites and boom, you're the limelight of the day. Such is the power of the most powerful entity on the earth, that is media. Good evening, everyone. Today, I, Ganeev Kaur, stand for you to express my views favoring the motion. Media is an effective tool for influencing the society. Be it social media, print media, or mass media, all are affecting human lives one or the other way. These agencies are so quick and active that if anything happens wrong, even something very small, it turns to be huge in no time. Media has reached the hands of every individual in the society. Then how come the society remains unaffected? According to Global Web Index, 54% of daily media time is online. Also, on a typical day, 12% read online press, 9% read and write blogs, 28% use social networking sites, and 17% do other things. Let's have an example of farmers' protests in India 2 years back. 26 November 2020 was the day when only the farmers drove towards Delhi to protest. The news was spread by media all over. Do we all know the result? Not only the country, the whole world stood up with them. Had media not done this, the consequences might have been different. Also, constant advertisements in media make people at least once try the product, and you can well imagine the profit to these companies if even half of the population tries that product. To reiterate my point of view, there's a dark side of everything, no doubt, but taking the brighter one is in our hands because freedom of thought can be more experienced through this present working of media only. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt, but actually I was disconnected because of network issues. Can I present my topic again?
Sorry, Navya, you already gave your speech. We were in your Q&A session. We'll give you a chance later if we have time. Aditya Tomar, go
Okay,
ahead.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So, Ganeev, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I just want to ask you that if more than 54% of the population are using internet, So, how do you think we can stop them? Like, more than 50% is doing this. Isn't it too much?
I don't think we really need to stop that because there should be a healthy balance, right? We should have a self control that we are not being addicted to it. And media has really quite positive effects. We are here, all of us are connected just because of media. The 2 years, the lockdown years, we were well educated by the online classes, and that was again by the support of media only.
Adrika?
Yes.
Adrika, I don't think so. You are unmuted. Adrika,
Ma'am,
we cannot.
I'm unmuted.
Yeah, now you are.
Yes. Yes, Garib, I would like to ask you a question. Is media not affecting the people's daily immune system or like physical appearance? If you see that many of the people in these 2 years have started facing obesity at the age of 12, 13, 14, this is not the age to suffer from obesity. This was just because of the influence of the media, social media. They were completely addicted. They weren't going outside for playing. They were even not doing exercises at home. So, what would you like to say on this?
I truly agree that obesity has, been a great point of view these days. But again, I would like to say, and I had already stated in my viewpoint that there's a dark side of everything, right? But if we have a limited time, I mean, if we do have a limitation on ourselves, we have a self control towards ourselves, we can surely, overcome that if we distribute the time evenly and have a great timetable, so there would be no harm.
Can we have Shobra?
Yes, ma'am. As you stated in your opening lines that within a few seconds you can become famous using social media. So give an example that how we can become famous within a few seconds.
All right. Let's have an example of Twitter only. If you tweet someone, let's say you tweet a celebrity in the comment, I mean, in the while stating anything. Don't you think, if anything, when you are giving a catchy comment or something, you're tweeting something real catchy, don't you say that you can be caught by media? You can have a limelight. And if you are using an Instagram handle, I told that you can click some buttons and you are popular overnight. If you put a very good content, some catchy content, don't you think you are popular overnight?
Last question by Avika.
Hi, Ganesh. In your speech, you stated that if even if something small occurs, the media agencies get to know about that. So don't you think it's just over sensationalization, like just making every small thing appear very big, every small news be it breaking news, and that indirectly negatively impact on our mental health?
I don't think so. I stated that even it becomes very huge in that sense, as I have given an example of farmers' protest. Farmers went, and if I say that media was not there, it won't become that huge that it became just because of the media. That what I said, that a small issue can become a very huge towards the it can be contributed the whole world just because of the media.
All right, we have elapsed the time. Thank you, guys. We'll go ahead with Siddak, who will be giving speech against the motion. You may have the floor. Siddak, are you there? Suppose not. In that case, we'll go ahead with Tanishka, who will be giving his speech in favor of the motion. Please go ahead. Tanishk Malhotra, are you there? All right. In case not, Vihang, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Vihang will be giving his speech against the motion.
Someone is calling again and again. Am I audible? Yes. May I begin? Some someone is calling.
Yes,
I
Vihang.
think there's
What
Am I
happened?
someone is calling again and again, so they'll interrupt with my speech. Can I begin now?
Sure. You're not required to take permission. As soon as the timer starts, it's your call to start. It's not our responsibility.
Sairam, yes. Sairam and a splendid evening to one and all. I am Vihang Dilal from Sri Satya Sai Vidya Vihar Indore, here to speak against the topic media is an effective tool for influencing the society. Media is the vast platform for mass communication on the entire planet. Over the years, information has been available to people via many branches of media, whether it be paper media, broadcast media, or social media platforms. Though many think the opposite, but media is indeed an ineffective tool for influencing the society. How is that possible? Hasn't media always manipulated people? Isn't it still manipulating us? Well, there is a simple answer no. Humans are social creatures of free will. Over the past years, humans have developed the ability to differentiate between the truth and falsity from sources like media. This statement may seem completely inaccurate, but it is completely true. Here are a past few incidences to prove my point. During the peak times of coronavirus pandemic, the people were highly insisted to stay at their homes. Campaigns in social media, continuous warnings in broadcast media, multitudinous of times people were advised to stay inside their homes. Still, people went outside, did not wear masks, and did not maintain any guidelines. This shows even after so much effort by media, it remained ineffective to influence the society. Another example is of our own country, India. Numerous of times, India encouraged peoples to keep their cities and surroundings clean. Innumerable campaigns were held through media. A city like my hometown Indore did change from the 25th cleanest city to the first. But what about the remaining 3,999 cities? Was media able to influence their people? No. Again, media remains as an effective tool for influencing society. To conclude, I would like to say that media might be able to make a small difference in our opinions, but it cannot change the views of the people. As I have said many times, media is an ineffective tool for influencing the society. Thank you.
Alina?
I strongly disagree to Vihang's opinion that that media is not an effective tool. If you're talking about Indore being the cleanest city, then other cities are working towards it too. Whereas media is creating this awareness. And when we talk about masks, a lot of us weren't even aware to wear masks before the pandemic started. And after pandemic, people who actually realized that the situation was critical. Again, have we as individuals come to think and whether to take that information or not? Media's work is to create awareness, and it did. All the three guidelines of washing hands and everything, it was there. So what's your take on this?
My take on this is that people, though Indore did become cleaner, still many cities are there in entire India that are still not clean, and they are not cleaning them. For example, what about the cities that were for the first before Indore got clean? Why aren't they clean right now? Why? Because they haven't been able to change. Also about COVID-19, it was only the first wave where people were a little scared because they did not know what it was. And humans will always be scared of what they don't know what a thing is. And after the second wave, everyone was outside, and you can clearly see the second and third waves of coronavirus were way severe than the before waves, and still people went out even after millions of warnings. Yes. Next question.
Adya?
Hello, Vihang. As you said that media is an ineffective tool, like it cannot influence the society. Actually, I think you have heard about the soil conservation campaign by Sadhguru. And he recently came to Lucknow, from where I belong, and he made the people, and he did it verbally. The campaign was itself. He went on bike, he went live on his Instagram account and shared what he was doing, shared the idea. That was the part of media. And the government organized a whole seminar, a whole day seminar for him to influence the people for that soil conservation campaign. And that's a part of media. That's a part of the media, and that's the power of media. How can you say that media is not an effective tool for influencing the
Well,
society?
you see, media is a large platform. Do you agree with me? Is media a large platform? Is it global or not? Right? It is global. Now, Sadhguru had to be physically present in Lucknow to tell the people of Lucknow to do the thing he did. So that is never, no one in India, no other cities, no other 3,999 cities did this, did what Sadhguru did, because he went to Lucknow. And that is what shows that people have to be physically present over a place just because they want to make people do something. Social media just wasn't able to help other cities. Only things that happened in Lucknow, according to your example.
Okay, I don't have the chance to counter question, but I appreciate your answer. Thank you so much.
Ela BG.
Yeah, so Vihang, you stated that people did not wear masks despite the media creating awareness. But you just said that the media created awareness and it was the personal choice of those people and their carelessness to not wear masks. The media had done their job portraying what the government had to tell to the people.
Well, you kind of proved my point. I said that the media tried to influence the people a lot to wear masks, and they did not. You just said it was their personal choices. This means they weren't influenced. This means media wasn't able to do anything. Yes. Next question.
Pranav.
Yep. Vihang, in your speech, you said that media was unable to influence people during COVID. I think this is wrong. I think in COVID times, media helped people take preventive steps for COVID with at-home treatments as well as prevention. I think that media also helped them to collaborate because it was one of the only forms of communication available at that time. And people used to make Facebook groups and share oxygen cylinders, which eventually saved lives. I would also say that media was successful in influencing the majority of people. Of course, you cannot always influence every single body, and everybody has an independent mind. Everybody has the right to do something, but it was still able to achieve a lot of success.
You see,
Could you please
again,
elaborate on that?
again, I would like to tell humans are afraid of things that they don't know what they are. So the first COVID wave, there were approximately 92 to 90,000 cases. In the second wave, where people knew what coronavirus is, it was straight to 400,000 cases of coronavirus. So I don't think media was able to influence these people to be safe or show safety. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead with the next speaker, Siddharth, in favor of the motion.
Ma'am, someone is calling you.
And someone is calling you continuously.
Who?
Ma'am,
You
she
need to
joined the
like
name by the name of Jatendra Kaur, and I think she got missed. Ma'am, Siddha.
call me in the meeting. Even now, one is speaking and is sound calling now.
Ma'am, the
Hello?
person's name is Siddha, and she's saying that when you were calling her name, she had some network issue.
Note, but time constraints, it would be really disruptive if we uh, between when others are speaking. We need to or be available at the end. Without any further ado, the current speaker, Siddharth, please go ahead.
News is just news.
The news channels only depict the news, and the viewers who are intelligent and smart interpret the news depending on their own outlook. Good evening, one and all. Today, I, Siddharth, stand emphatically for the topic. Media helped in raising public conscience towards social evils that plague the society, like dowry, child marriage, and even untouchability. It thus makes right to information a reality for the common man. To come to any decision or to come under any influence, you need facts, which the media provides efficiently in the 21st century. Raja Ramohan Roy abolished sati using the press. Society. What do we mean by this word? It simply means a larger population. And if you want to impact any society, you need to first unite it, which is only possible through media. Today, most of the public programs like various awareness drives, fundraisers are all reached till the society by the use of media. Wash hands frequently, use sanitizers, maintain social distance. All these things sound familiar, right? The only thing which gave us hope and information throughout the lockdown was the media. If media used in the right manner, it could be the greatest tool in the hand of mankind. George Floyd was killed brutally by the police officers, but nobody knew about this. But due to the media, the Black Lives Matter slogan was born. The whole world was filled with sorrow. The whole world demanded justice. What brings on this unity? What brings on this appeal for justice which cannot be ignored? It is the media, my friends. It helped fight racism against African Americans and motivated others to rise against racism. I would like to end by a quote. Freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy. Thank you.
I'm sorry, there was a network issue at my end. Anya, please go ahead.
Yes. So as you said that media can be that one thing which can be used to unite society. But don't you think that media can be that one tool which can be which causes outbreaks in society?
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. But according to me, people get divided because they interpret the news depending on their own outlook. Media is just giving the common information to everybody. The people take that information depending on their own outlook and become divided on the same subject. So media is just a platform. Media
But
cannot be
that
blamed.
information is not always true.
Could you repeat?
But that information is not always true.
Ma'am, about information, there are various platforms, like there are news channels, there are newspapers, there are censor boards, and people, if they spread fake information, police arrests them. So I think the graph of fake information will always be coming down. Even Twitter is banning millions of accounts per day, which were controlled by bots.
Swam,
You boldly stated that the media is propagating news efficiently, but 60% of the news that is flooding the society right now is fake news. So the information that you're constantly talking about now and then is misinformation and not information.
Thank you for the question, sir, but I already answered the question. The graph of fake information will be coming down, and it is coming down because government, censor boards, everybody is acting on it, and there will always be problems with everything. If you go to find problems, you will even find problem in a simple pencil.
But we are not living in a utopian society. We have to talk about the present rather than looking at the graphs of the future.
Sir, but graphs is a real thing. You cannot ignore a graph. You cannot ignore information, right? It is a
I'm
true
not
thing.
talking about ignoring the graph. I'm talking about focusing on the future rather than looking at the future estimates.
Exactly, sir. I'm looking at the future. That's why I said the graph of fake information
I'm
will be
saying
coming
that
down.
don't look
So
at the
will
future.
comes as the future word.
I'm saying to not look
right,
at the future
there's
estimate
no
and
cross talks. So I am Siddharth. No,
Sorry,
that's
ma'am.
why I said no follow-ups allowed. We'll go ahead with the next person, Riddhi Kaushal. Again, please go ahead. Riddhi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Same response. You're requested to be really proactive when you're going there. I've dropped the list in the box. Riddhi.
It is precisely the purpose of the public opinion generated by the press to make the public incapable of judging, to insinuate into an attitude of someone irresponsible, uninformed. Hi, my name is Riddhi Kaushal, and today I'm here in front of you all presenting my views against the topic media is an effective tool for influencing society. But first, what exactly is media? Well, it is a term used to describe all the components of mass communication, may it be print, digital, or any other medium which is used to share information to the masses. That's a common thing. But if we see carefully, we find that information provided is not by the digital media. It is by one's opinion, not through any part of mass communication. Since old days, times, most part of country used print media and broadcasting media for transfer of thoughts, and the most important incident is our freedom struggle. Media was considered to be the influencer. But does it? After all, nobody remembered the names of the newspaper which helped spread the opinion of freedom fighters. But what we remembered are the names of people who presented their opinions. Today, most commonly used media is digital type. It is a platform for contradiction of thoughts that are shared with multiple people at the same time. Most often, we don't agree with the person's opinion, but that doesn't mean we are influenced by the media. At last, I would like to conclude by saying that media is not an effective tool for influencing society. Even if it does, it will even if it does, it will still influence society as an interface. After all, we have many influencers like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther, and Elon Musk. Thank you.
Excuse me, Tejas here. Uh, Vidhi is facing some network issue from her end, so I request you to kindly wait for some more time. Sorry for your inconvenience caused.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I'm back. Adrika, please go ahead.
So, as you just said that during the time of freedom, the independence time, we only remember few newspapers. Okay, I agree with that. So, don't you remember there were many writers also like Munshi Premchand, Rabindranath Tagore. They also wrote many stories, novels related to that era. So, don't you agree on that? Please present your views.
But the thing matter is that we are influenced by public opinion, not by the media. the person who write it, that was their opinion. We were influenced by the public opinions, not by the media.
Manya?
Yes, ma'am. So as you said that media does not help people influence the society, don't you think that media allowed every common man and woman to express their views or to become a self-promoting and self-shaping entity in a world without any borders? Actually, media is an interface. An interface is not an influencer. It is not used as an influencer tool. It is only an interface.
Vihang?
Yes. So basically, you just said that media is not able to influence people, right? Uh,
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm not able to hear you clearly. Sorry.
I'm sorry, continue.
All right, I think the argumentation round is over for this. Krishna Bhatia is there. Krishna, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, he'll be giving his speech again in favor of the motion. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, ma'am, it's called Useful but Not Tall. Tell us what's happening around the world. Greetings, everybody. I'm Krishna Bharia from Doon International School of Medicine. Is here to speak in favor of the topic. Media is an effective tool to influence society. I would like to start here from a very basic point of view. Work. Everybody has to work to live a peaceful life, enjoy the luxuries of life. And here, the media is taking the lead by providing millions of employment to the unemployed youth, turning their abilities to the assets for the society. It is a major factor that influences the business by creating advertisements, pictures, posters, and blogs, which helps in promotion of products and increase the productivity of business. Further, it helps in the increase in GDP rate, which is the gross domestic product, which is influenced by this. Advertisement is a major factor which influences customers to get the products, and telling about the benefits is much useful for them. Now, imagine yourself being in a desert where nobody is around you, weather suddenly turns down. In that island, the tsunami is going to come in 2 hours. You get information from that media, and then the media informs you about the precautions, measures that you have to take to protect yourself. Here, it will be a disaster situation that you will be saved from by the media. Media, not even this, all but also globalizing is done through the media. Many are taking the social issues and discussing the solutions such as AIDS, social abusing of children, and even the female foeticides. Here, the media is empowering the people. Empowerment comes from the education, and education this all is done through the source of media. Think about it. Thank you.
Samaya?
Yes. So my question is, media isn't actually a tool, it's just a place for information and content. So what are your views on that?
Yeah, mate. Thank you for a question, but I would like to answer that by saying that the media, yeah, you're correct. Media is a platform that gives information, and that platform can be helpful for the person sometimes. It is a life-saving part and also provides the dated information which keeps you updated about the recent updates, what's happening around the world. And that is what is influence of the media on the people.
Thank you.
Aditya?
Yes, ma'am. I'm agreeing on this side. I would like to say that when you are in a desert and no one is around, you get the information through media. But what are the chances of like media only works either by internet is or either by internet for the weather forecast. So you don't have any internet access in the desert. So how would you like to say that?
I'm sorry to say, I also include the situation of tsunami in that particular island also. And that source of media is not just limited to the internet or towers. It's also about the communication with the persons. If there is not a person, you can get the information through mobile phones. But if there is not even a tower or internet, you can get signals from the peoples around you. It can be in either way.
Okay, but that was Sorry.
Adrika.
Yes, Krishna, I'd like to ask you a question. So, even after the media, the news channels are spreading the news that this island has met with a tsunami. So, can you just ever feel the people, how actual the people are feeling over there? Can you just imagine their feeling? How how scared they must be? So, can you imagine that?
Yeah, well, friend, I would like to say that before the coming of the tsunami, the media forecast, the weather forecast also tells a report that before that situation, 48 hours before, the media supplies the news that there is going to be a facing of tsunami in that particular region. So they can evacuate and go to the camps by sending the situation through the media. The scary situation is when the person is not in contact with the media and not giving the information. But people are the ones that supply the media. And that's what's all.
We'll go ahead with the next speaker. Pranav Suri, are you there?
Right.
Pranav,
Yep.
are you there?
Yep.
All right. You're speaking against the motion. Go ahead.
Respected judges and esteemed colleagues, I'm Pranav Suri of Class 10J in CMS Lucknow. It is an honor to share my views on this platform, and I thank the organizers for providing this opportunity. Today, I will speak against the motion, media is an effective tool for influencing the society. In the words of Stuart Even, public relations is the history of a battle for what is reality and how people will see reality. I do not believe media is an effective tool to influence the society for the following reasons. Firstly, people have become aware that governments, private corporations, and social leaders steer public opinion through propaganda films, fake interviews, news columns, and big budget advertisements. Secondly, media does not produce meaningful social change on real issues. Tweeting and blogging will generate some likes and maybe some funding. But it is the fieldwork of NGOs, government policy, and community support that actually enables a tribal to seek legal support against exploitation. Thirdly, social media generates abundant fake news, promotions by paid consumer influencers, and unwanted intrusion in our private lives. People realizing this are going offline to maintain sanity and develop real life relationships. Finally, I conclude that we are more deeply influenced by our family values, real life experiences, and in person social interactions. A a personal visit remains in memory for years, but an online web series episode is soon forgotten. Therefore, the influence of media is limited and short lived if present. Thank you for listening to me. I welcome further discussion.
Seeing no questions, we'll go ahead with the next speaker. All right. Krishna Bhatia.
Yeah, my friend, I would like to ask that how we can come to know about that a particular news is fake.
Sorry?
How a news can be considered as fake when you are not having any source to tell it is fake or it's real?
Well, it can. So, is your question how can news be considered fake? Is that your question? Sorry.
I would like to say that how we come to know that a particular news is considered fake through a source, right?
Okay. So, many, so most news nowadays is biased, and you can clearly see that from the way people talk. And fake news can be easily spotted. If you see news on like 10 channels, like I watch CNN, NBC, CNN, and Fox, and if a fact is different from the other two, you can easily spot that as fake. Secondly, there are real life government documents that show you how things happen. So relying on just a news channel blindly is wrong, I would say. You should look at multiple channels and look at documents that are being published by the UN and organizations that have no interest in fooling you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adrika.
Hey, Pranav, it's Adrika this side. So I'd like to ask you a question that there are many writers, book writers, novelists. So, so do you think that all their all their hard work goes in vain when they hear that social media are tragically saying that, bro, your content is not good. So how do you feel like that?
I believe that books are a form of media. They are considered print media. And I believe the writer should be given credit for their great work. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, seeing no more questions, we'll go ahead. Ritesh, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, in favor of the motion. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Back in 2005, only about 5% of users in the United States were involved in social media. In 2019, that number grew to about 70%. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I, Ritesh, will be speaking for the motion. Social networks have evolved from being a handy means for keeping in touch with each other to being used in ways that have a real impact on society. Firstly, let's see the role of media in politics. The influence of social media in political campaigns has increased tremendously. Because social media allows people to communicate more freely, it is helping to create surprisingly influential social organizations among once marginalized groups. Secondly, social media has ensured that businesses easily reach their customers through one social media platform or another. Businesses use social media to stimulate demand and create targeted product offerings. In fact, 54% of B2B marketers say that they have generated leads from social media. Thirdly, social media has had a profound effect on recruitment and hiring. In order to attract top talent, social recruiting strategies are pivotal. To conclude, it's been said that information is power, but without a means of distributing information, people cannot harness energy and knowledge in today's world. To sum up, ladies and gentlemen, social media is definitely a game changer, and I will end my speech by quoting Amijo Martin. Social media is the ultimate equalizer. It gives a voice and a platform to anyone willing to engage. Thank you and have a great day ahead.
Manya, go ahead.
Yes. So as you said that social media can be a game changer, can you elaborate about this point of yours? How can social media be a game changer?
See, social media can be a game changer means in some situations. For example, if you consider if a false news or fake news is being trending, then social media, as I said in my speech, can help people to connect more freely without any barriers. So hence, if the fake news gets replaced by a true news, then it can definitely be a game changer, and in other situations also it can work. I hope that answers.
Thank you.
Krishna Bhatia.
Yeah. If the media is having a good influence over the people, then why the government is censoring this and taking control over the news channels and reports?
See, the answer to this question is simply that a coin has two sides, a head and a tail. Everything has its own pros and its own consequences. And if in this case, media, as I said, is having a good impact, then the people who try to make this media dirty, um, in my opinion, the government is trying to censor those people, not the whole media. So you can't blame the whole media for some people or some handful of news.
Adrika.
Yes, yes. Hey Ritesh, it's Adrika this side, and I'd like to ask you a question that during the lockdown period, we all watched television and we saw many news reporters taking interviews from the family members of the dead people who died due to coronavirus. So, you know just think about their feelings. How are they feeling? They just got from a depression. A member of the family died due to coronavirus, and you're taking up his interview. So how would be their feelings? So could you answer this question?
See, actually, can you please repeat the question?
Sorry. I'm repeating the question. During the pandemic time, we all heard the news reporters taking the interviews in the hospitals. So we also saw many news reporters taking interviews of the family members of the dead people who died due to coronavirus. So can you just think about the feelings? How were they feeling about a member of the family died due to coronavirus, and you are asking them to give an interview? Wouldn't be it depressing? Answer me this question.
See, the family members will obviously feel sad, but here in this case, the media has just helped to convey their feelings to us and make us aware of some facts and figures that of the destruction of the coronavirus, and that's it. The media was trying to put up the truth, and it is obvious that the family would feel very sad.
All right, with this, we'll go ahead with the next speaker, Samarpreet. Are you there? Samarpreet, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm here. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Against the motion, please go ahead.
Warm greetings to everyone present here. I am Samarpreet Rana from Dayavati Modi Academy, Uttar Pradesh, representing the topic Media is an effective tool on influencing the society, and I strongly oppose the motion. So, to begin with, we should actually know what media is. Media is any medium like TV, radio, or newspaper through which we can connect through the masses. So, to prove my point, I'll just bring on one simple question. While talking person to person and having a conversation online, both do have some different impacts. Like, as we compare both of the things, then only we will be able to get what is more effective. So, imagine if we are having this debate person to person, it would be having more impact and more effect on giving an impact to the society, whereas we are having it virtually and it will have comparatively a bit less impact on the society. Also, like for example, let's say any news is spread around the globe and eventually it's about a politician, and we have the politician in front of us and we are talking to him in person. In talking to him in person will have much what more impact on us. A politician giving a lecture or a speech in the public will have more impact than a speech getting recorded and being played on the TVs and etc. As it is, when we are in person talking to someone, it has more impact on understanding by looking at his body language, at his confidence, and looking at how the way he's talking. Like today, like we are having this online person to person conversation. Here we can't just judge it the body language of the person as and when he's speaking. But while we are having it person to person in an offline manner, which is somewhere more effective, we can get to know that the person is having much more confidence and is having much more self-belief in himself. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Aditya Tomar.
I just want to ask gentlemen that the topic is media an effective tool for influencing society? And you was telling about like what will happen if we are online and offline. So I would like to see your opinions about how it is not an effective tool.
With the permission of the jury, I would like to answer this question. She asked me that I told about online and offline things. Eventually, the topic is media is an effective tool to influence the society. And I told you how we can say something as effective when we compare it with some other thing. And eventually, if we compare something with a much more effective thing, that we can't say the first thing as effective, I guess.
We'll have Vihyang.
Your speech mostly had points unrelated to influencing. So can you give 2 to 3 points that show that social media does not influence the society?
Imagine if we are having this debate on person to person. We would be able to get how your body language is. We would be able to get how much confident you are. Eventually, if we compare this to a speech by a politician, that will influence the mass comparatively extremely more as compared to it on social media, I guess.
Krishna Bhatia.
Yeah, I would like to ask that here you have compared the online and offline mode, but whereas the offline mode and online mode both are the ways of the media to interact, because media is a platform sharing the information. through offline or online. Both are the ways, just like media.
I guess my friend don't know that having a person-to-person interaction is not a media, whereas having a interaction by news or something, that's form of media, I guess.
Manya?
Yes, ma'am. So as you said that offline has a great impact, but don't you think that because of media only, we are able to connect with many people as compared to offline?
I would like to ask you, how is connecting with someone influencing the society?
You included this in your speech.
Yep, I included this in my speech, but that was to compare that having a person-to-person interaction is much what more impactful if we took it to large scale. Having this like debate, we are having this online. People can go and turn off their camera and just sit in their places, not even listening to others' content. While we are having it person to person, it is somewhere a compulsion also, an obligation also to listen to the other person's content.
Thank you, Swayam.
The purpose of media is not to chit chat in person, but it is rather to spread awareness. Even the politician is not here to chit chat with you in person, but the politician would rather use the media to spread information with the masses. So your point that being in person with the politician or being in person is more impactful, how is that even valid with the given topic?
Imagine you are in like there are a group meeting, there are programs by us that like they have a gathering and they ask the question in person. Eventually, imagine if that would be via media, like using this virtual conference, it wouldn't be that much impactful as there the person can ask him directly person to person, and that would have much what more impact in asking a question.
Pranav?
Yep. Samarpreet, when you talk about media, you are very
That's
focused on
Samarpit,
social
not
media.
Samarpit, by the way. That's Samarpit,
Sorry?
brother. That's Samarpit, not Samarpreet.
Sorry, Samarpreet. I'm so sorry. Samarpreet, but when you talk about media, you're focusing on social media. And I have one more question. How is media related to interpersonal conversations? If you're having a conversation with somebody offline, that's an interpersonal conversation. It has no relation to media.
Let me clear you one thing, like we are watching a news on a news channel going on, like it's again and again showing something, and we are having an interpersonal communication. We can clearly get it by the face that the person is lying or not. Eventually, that's what face reading is mostly. But you can't get that much clearly via news channels and newspapers too.
But conversations are not a source of information, like media is.
We are not having the debate on is media a source of information or not. It is about is media an effective tool for influencing the society, I guess.
All right, we'll go ahead to the next speaker. Swayam will be giving his speech in favor of the motion. Please go ahead.
The media is opening doors of discussions that had previously remained shut. Good evening, everyone. I am Swayam Shah from Gujarat, and I will be speaking for the motion. If the legislature is the brain, the executive the eyes, the judiciary the ears, then the media is the mouth. It can give voice to the voiceless. The media plays the role of watchdog, checking wrongdoings by politicians, officials, or private business. It is a crucial instrument of accountability along with an instrument of communication. As in the case of Pakistan and Sri Lanka, the media unearthed the reality and pressured the government to make amends, thereby fulfilling its role as the fourth pillar of democracy. Secondly, by creating awareness, media proves to be an effective means of keeping the common man in touch with the issues and news of the world. It helps in educating people about their rights, government schemes, access to better technology, and drawing attention to institutional failings. TV and press media is the perfect pedestal for advertising, creating awareness, or propagating revolutionary ideas. Thirdly, in a democratic setup, the press can act as a bridge between the government and the people. The media has an extraordinary ability to act as a catalyst in the society's efforts to strengthen democratic polity. The newspaper not only presents facts but also gives the interpretation of facts. The media can play a prominent role in replacing false backward mindsets with modern ideas. In wartime, the media has always remained by the side of the people, as was in the case of Ukraine. The media questioned the silence of world organizations and influenced the public to stand up. The historic Indian national movement is another example where the media played a major role in awakening the masses against colonial rule. Thus, the media is not only a source of news, but it is also the voice of the people. And as we know, public opinion is the currency of democracy. The media has the power to persuade, educate, and influence the world. Therefore, it is a beacon of change. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have questions. Aditya.
Hello, sir. Agrima this side. I would like to ask that you said that media is a watchdog for the wrongdoings of the government. But government
It is
is
a watchdog
using
by checking the wrongdoings of politicians or
okay,
officials
it's a watchdog by checking the wrongdoings of the politicians. But
or the other
but
organ of government.
yeah, but we can agree that politicians and other representatives sometimes use media to spread false information or uh, make false promises that we know that they'll never complete. So how do you want to say?
I completely agree, but it is the politicians that are making the false claims and not the media. The media is just telling what the politicians are telling, and then it critically analyzes by conducting debates. So it is not the media that is giving the false claims.
Pranav.
Yep. In your speech, you said that media is basically it checks the government for its faults. Uh, Most of the media nowadays is biased because they want profit, and especially in authoritarian governments like China, you'll get censored if you don't say something that is aligned with the state's thoughts. In those cases, how does media act as a fourth pillar of democracy and bring truth to the normal?
One, China is not a democracy. Two, the very fact that you know that things are not going right in China serves the purpose of the media. The media rightly told you the wrong things that are happening in the world, and the very fact that you're giving me the example of China, the media is doing its work right. Though it is not being able to do the work right in China, but that is because of the authoritarian rule of the regime.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Adrika.
Yes. Hey, Sam, it's Hadrika this side. So I'd like to ask you a question that after the addiction of social media, aren't the children, teens, and adults losing their eyesight? They are getting so much of eyesight problems. Won't you agree on this?
Pardon, can you please repeat your question again?
Can you please mute your mic? So my question is that won't you agree that after the addiction of social media, young children, adults, and teens aren't losing their eyesight? They're wearing spectacles with so much of power. So what do you have to say about that?
I would say that this question is irrelevant because I specifically emailed Mal Education Trust to ask them if social media was included in the topic, but they specifically told we have to just cover TV media and print media. So social media is out of the topic right now. So I think the question is irrelevant.
By the way, social media comes in the topic of media only.
That was my concern. I asked the Mal Education Trust personnel, but that person said no. So
Vihang.
Yes. So you basically said media is quite a very nice thing. Now, doesn't media spread so much of fake news? So many things that are fake now. You are now with this fake news, won't the people be affected in a very bad way? No.
I'm not saying that media is the best. It has its own flaws, but the media alone on its own is not at the fault here. It is rather the society. The media is a mirror of the society, and the society nowadays is just fueling the fire with lack of tolerance towards other religious problems, and this just boosts the media to propagate fake news for higher TRP. So it is like a double-edged sword, and yes.
Thank you so much for the answer. It was great.
Manya.
So as you said about the positive sides of media, but how can we believe it? Because now we have less control on who we are and what we believe.
That is a perfectly valid question, but at the end of the day, it comes to in our own hands because we have to make the decision at the end of the day. If we rather change our attitude towards the media, if we condemn it and force the media, then the media will surely change because they want the readers because we are giving them the money. So if we change our own attitudes and if we do it on a large level, I'm sure that the media will change.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead with the next speaker. Okay, we have elapsed all the speakers, so we'll take the ones who haven't spoken due to network issues. We'll have Siddhak. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Siddhak, against the motion, you may go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. Don't use media to impress people. Use it to impact people. Good evening. I'm Siddhak and today I am going to speak against the topic media is an effective tool influencing the society. The negative effects of media on society can lead people towards poverty, crime, nudity, violence, bad mental and physical health, and other such outcomes. The unauthorized news are the biggest example of the negative impact of social media. Spending too long time on social media may adversely affect our health. While media makes it easier to make new friends, but it also enables cruel people to tear into others with very little efforts. They might create fake accounts and act very friendly, but later on betray and embrace them online. Social media is more addictive than drugs. Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, Skype, Instagram are few of these apps or social sites in which people waste their precious time. Television has a major impact on young ones and even in toddlers. Television violence is accompanied by vivid production features. Children pay attention to violence, even in cartoons. Children who should spend their time in reading good books, playing outdoors, exercising, today spend their time in social media. Anyways, some people are greatly influenced what they see in media, some newspapers, TV shows, and websites, but most of it is junk. Overall, the media affects the people on the large basis. If we will use the media for only our use, then it would be the best thing ever. All children need adequate sleep, physical activity, and time away from media. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions from Vihang?
So you were basically speaking against the topic that media is an effective tool for influencing the society, right?
Yes.
So you said that media is affecting kids, it is influencing people to be addicted to it, to watch it continuously, and it has a lot of disadvantages. It has in it, it has its own advantages also. Now, how can you prove after this speech you said that media is an ineffective tool? How can you speak against the topic then?
Yes, I am speaking against the topic, but there are some advantages also.
No, the topic isn't about advantages or disadvantages. The topic
I
is
have
whether it is.
only said that I have only said that there is. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
I have only said that if we use it only for our use, then it is good media. Then it is good. Otherwise, it is harmful and it is not an effective tool for society.
No, but it is not about good, harmful, good or bad. It is about whether it is influencing us or not. In a positive, negative, whatever way is it influencing us. So you made it clear that it's influencing us. So you proved your own point wrong. Right. Thank you.
We'll have Manya.
Yes. So you were talking about social media affecting people, but can you just state some points which would prove that that social media is an ineffective way to influence society, just not people that is mentally
because social media is an ineffective tool because they are students and children, teens are addictive to it. They use them all the day.
Except addiction, because that was a part of this.
And there are many unauthorized news that are posted on the social media apps.
Adrika?
Yes, I'd like to ask you a question. That imagine a situation if a child lives in Delhi and his father lives in America. So, if the child is missing his father a lot, so what would be the medium in which the child would communicate his father? Obviously, it will be media. So, what do you like to say about this?
Yes, media is also helpful, but there are many disadvantages also.
Krishna?
Yes. Yeah, my friend, you mentioned in your speech that it is also affecting our health. Can you please justify that statement?
Yes, when we use the screen, we affect our eyesight, and sometimes the media also interfere with our sleep.
Vihang?
Sorry, my hand is raised by mistake.
Okay, Aditya?
Hi, Siddharth, Agrima here. I would like you to mention one example which we can be sure about that media is not an effective tool for influencing the society. Can you give me one example?
You are not audible. Can you speak again?
I'm saying that can you give me one example to prove that media is not an effective way for influencing the society?
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Media is not an effective tool because there are many examples, like we can say
I'm not able to hear anyone.
Ma'am.
Can you hear us, ma'am?
Ma'am,
Yeah.
there is a network issue.
I think she's not unable to answer.
Okay. So we'll go ahead with the next speaker. Tanishk Malhotra, are you there? I believe not. So we have covered, I guess.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Everyone. Yes, Adrika?
Ma'am, due to network issue, I didn't have my argument round.
You had for 2 minutes, so we'll give you 3 minutes for your argumentation round. So,
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
could you please reset the timer to 3 minutes? And anyone who have questions to Adrika, please raise your hand.
She was for the motion or against the motion.
Yes, please.
Adrika was against the motion.
I was against.
Okay.
Yes, Manya.
So I had a question that we can see that just a second. We can say that politicians can use social media to manipulate the public, but can't we say that and we also sometimes say that the media is biased towards one government, but it also happens like sometimes media shows what the government is hiding. What would you say about that?
Yes, of course it does. But you don't know even that is it a rumor or it's truth. Media we don't have a true faith on media nowadays because of hackers, scams. So we just can't trust it like that.
But what about media showing the reality?
Sorry?
But what about media showing the reality of the government?
Okay, that's a different thing. when the people start protesting against that, then the media has to show that that we aren't wrong. So to hide your false deeds, you have to show your truth also.
This can be an effective way to influence society.
I don't think so. It's an effective way because it's actually completely making the society more dull.
How is it making society more dull?
Because because if you know that the rumors which are spread, that if one person will say, then the other person will say something else, and then they will just start arguing, and which makes the society dull.
All right,
Arguing doesn't mean
Pranav, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Adrika, in your speech, you mentioned that social media is not effective for influencing society. If that is true, then why does the average person have 7.6 social media accounts and spends more than 160 minutes every day on social media?
Because actually it's a digital cocaine. You just keep scrolling your phone, you'll find something attractive, and then you'll watch that video, you'll find another video attractive, you start watching that video, and just like that you'll pass down your whole day of watching those videos, and what you'll get in the last? Nothing.
Thank you, Krishna.
Don't you think this platform can raise the voice for the justice, charities, and will help millions of the people?
Charities, yes. Why don't you do charity by going to the orphanages and giving food and old clothes to the children?
All right, thank you. I would like to ask one last time if anyone is left in this meeting.
Ma'am, actually, I couldn't have my argument round.
Oh, Navya, yeah. So, and are there any questions for Navya?
Can you please tell whether she was for or against? Because it has been
For
a long
motion.
time since.
She was for in favor of the motion. Is it Navya? Okay, Navya Verma. So, are there any questions for her? Yes, Vihang.
So in my speech, I mentioned that that even after giving so many warnings for coronavirus, people did not at all. They did not follow these guidelines from the second wave. So how can you be very sure that media is an effective tool for influencing society?
See, but if we talk about majority of the people followed the precautions, and they knew about it just because of media. Do you think that majority of the people would have been able to know about these precautions without media? So, yeah, that's my answer.
Well, knowing them and following them is different, right? Knowing them doesn't mean to be influenced. It's just knowing something. But being
Yeah, but
influenced.
majority
See,
of the people followed it, right?
no, they did not. That is the point. The first wave had 90,000 cases, as I remember. The second one had 400,000 cases. So
The
this
cases
shows
definitely came down, right?
they came up.
After a point of time, they came down. People media is also responsible for influencing people for vaccination, if we talk about that. So in some way or the media influenced people to fight against COVID and follow various precautions or get yourselves vaccinated. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for the answer.
Thank you.
We can have Krishna.
Yeah, I would like to ask that in the corona period only, that there was a fake remedy that in the heat, the corona also disappears with the heat. As it increasing, the people were starting to walk on the coal and just starting to stand on the suns in the summer vacations. So what about that?
So media is a way which can influence us, but we also have some responsibility. We should also have some sense what things fake or what's really useful for us. We should also have a sense that or we should double check some things that it's really valid, or if it's verified or not. So there is our responsibility also. Media, we cannot blame something for something to media wholly. There are mistakes also.
Thank you.
Cool. I guess with this we are done. Anyone else?
I would like to go if that's possible now.
No. It was
no
only 3 minutes, so not
No
possible.
problem. Thank you so much.
Anyone else who's left to speak? I suppose not now. So cool, guys. We are done with this session. Today's session. I request the host to stop sharing the screen. So I'll hand over the floor to both the judges to give the feedbacks, and then we'll make some important announcements. Over to you, ma'am. Cool, guys. You can switch on our cameras. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. I've taken the screenshot. So you did an amazing job. And I think in national level competition is on 10th of July. You'll receive the results within a week, and your participation or winner certificates too. As we say announced, from each state, only one participant would be qualified. Apart from that, yeah, it was amazing to hear you all. And keep following Bal Education Trust. We hope to see you in future events also. So, any doubts before we leave? Cool. Bye, guys. Good night. Good evening. Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.